everything up and running so that we can get live on all of these platforms. Let me tell you. Today, we're going to be talking about this story with, let me see if I can get this up on the screen right now. Oh, it's not coming up. Oh, Danaya Jaxn. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be getting into the full video. We're going to be doing a watch party today. So get ready for that. Let me we did a quick whatchamacallit to get everything up and running for today's broadcast, but I see that there's one thing that's missing. Something is gone from my board. And so I'm glad that we did that because I'm a little bit rusty on the system. Welcome back. I am your host, Tonya TKO. We're going to be doing a watch party of the full Danaya Jaxn video. I have, you know what? Before we do all of that, let me just get the link. Let me go ahead and make sure that I get live on all of these platforms. So give me just 1 second, you all. Oh, goodness. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. All right. So the video is up. Let me get the link, and then we're going to get it out to the text notification squad. We're going to get live on every platform. I wish that I had made a thumbnail, but I did not. So we're just going to have to go forward without the thumbnail. Let me just get this out to the text notification squad. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome. Sorry that I'm late. We're just getting a late start this morning, and everything is rolling backwards because of the late start. So for the people who set aside time at lunch to watch, I'm sorry that we didn't go live at 12, but we're live right now. The next best time to do something is right now. So let us go ahead and get this inside of the text notification squad. Let's add that. Let's go ahead and get it sent out on Telegram, all right? And then we're going to go live on every channel. I really do wish I had a thumbnail, but what can we do for the thumbnail? What can we do for the thumbnail? We can't really do anything because we're already live on air. What can we do? Nothing that I can think of. All right, so so it's showing that there's no viewers. YouTube is showing that there's no viewers. I don't know why it's showing that. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I tell you that much. So let's see. What is the best way to do this? Let's do this way. I know what we're going to do. We're going to do this way. This is the next best thing to having our thumbnail. So we are going to we're going to do a quick picture, and then I'm going to update that picture inside of let me get everything off of the screen. Oh, welcome in, everybody. Welcome. My counters are still messed up. It's showing that, oh, you know what? Damn it. My counter is showing 0. So how do we do this? I'm going to take it with my phone real quick and then put it up on the thing. Child, listen, this is, I don't want to say it's low budget, but it's going to be what it is going to be. You know what I'm saying? So here, let me get my watch face on. Like, okay. So this is the thumbnail that's going to be used. It look crazy, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you're here right now, you are early. You know what? I need to get the thing out to the text notification squad. That's what I need to do because I never pressed send on that. Let me get the title from here. Let's get this copied and pasted. And then we're going to do a hashtag TKO text squad. All right. And so that is going to be sent out. That is sent out. Let me get on to the YouTube app and see about getting my thumbnail updated while we are live on air. What can we do? It's here. It's what we doing. It's what we doing. It's what we doing. Where is my thing? Let's go to content. It says last published content. Let's go to live. The last live that it shows is something that says I'm back. So damn it. It does not have our whatchamacallit. So what I'm gonna have to do is just attach it to an email and then just open the email and then just do it that way. Let's do compose, attach file. Where is my images? Camera. Here we go. And that is there. So let's go. Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be getting into this watch party real soon. So if you are here, pull up a seat. I got my popcorn and I got my fresh fruit drink ready to be able to watch this whole thing unfold. Well, we're watching part 1. So that's what I need to do. I need to update the titles to say part 1. Should I do watch party part 1? No, let me do break the silence. Danaya Jaxn breaks silence on let's do part 1. Part 1. Let's do update. And then welcome in everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. People are just getting in here. It's fine. We have not started yet. I am still trying to do some maintenance behind the scenes, just getting in. So people are saying they're going to see Danaya Jaxn come all the way up. You know what? I think that I think one of the things that we have to do is just realize that existing, living, growing, all of those things are wins. They're wins. And even if she never glows up or goes up any more than where it is that she is right now, one foot in front of the other is a win. And I'm happy for her that she is, you know what? I don't even know what to say, honestly. Let me get this thumbnail together because you know what? Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has trials and tribulations in their lives. And it's what it is, what it means to us. What does your life mean to you? What are you going to do so that you're not in the same place next year that you are right now? Oh my gosh, it says that the file size is bigger than 2 megabytes. So after all of that, I can't even get the thing up on the thing. This is unbelievable. What is the way that this can be done? I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I can take a screenshot of the picture that I took. Let me open up my email. Let me open up the picture. Nope, I don't want to do that. I want to, let's see. I want to, I just want to open up the picture. I just want to get the picture up. This is ridiculous. Let me, the only other way that I can think of is to send it to myself via WhatsApp and then go from there. Let me just attach the photo. I'm just getting back into the swing of things. I know this video has been going on for some minutes and we haven't gotten into the video yet. This is how it is sometimes, and this is how it is today. And so I'm downloading this. It's downloaded. Let me upload it into the YouTube area right now. And there it is uploaded and it is saved. All right. All right. Okay, so I see that somebody is saying that Danaya Jaxn's life is sad. We really do. You know, I really want this. You know what I want us to do? I want to task us with the responsibility of not making this about her, about really finding the self-love lesson and the value for ourselves. Because if we're just sitting here making a spectacle of her life, then our lives aren't getting better. It's her responsibility to work on her life. It is our responsibility to work on ours. So what are you going to do in this time, this present time, right here and now, to work on your life? Instead of distracting yourself into the trials and tribulations of somebody else's life, do the hard work that it requires to see yourself in this situation and see the ways in which you have not loved yourself fully. Let's do that. Let me go ahead, and we need that's all I'm saying, because this, at the end of the day, if all we're doing is sitting around watching other people, then we ain't getting better. Hopefully she's working on herself and making herself and her life better. Hopefully that's what she's doing. All right, let's go ahead and get live on all of these platforms. You know what I'm saying? Whew. All right. We are live on Twitch. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. And of course, you know, we are live on YouTube. Welcome in. Welcome in. If somebody says that they're late, you are not late. We are running behind schedule, so you are right on time. I am your host, Tonya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. One of the things that happened and has been happening over the past few years is the unraveling of Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Street Meat Jaxn, as you know, as we call him over here. So Street Meat was a relationship expert and guru online, while offline he was behaving in a way that some experts describe as narcissistic and abusive. And this is his wife on the screen right here. Her name is Danaya Jaxn, and we're going to be doing a watch party of the entire video. Make sure that you support the original content creator, whose link to the original full video is in the description below. That way you don't have to watch pieces and samples. We are going to go bit by bit and watch every single moment of this video. And we're going to, hopefully there won't be any need to stop. Hopefully we'll be able to just run straight through. But if I feel that there is a self-love lesson in there for you to be able to look at your own life, this is what I want. Because if we're making a spectacle of other people's lives, we're not getting better. And as a self-love specialist, as an expert in self-love, I am telling you that as you are watching this, to have grace enough to look at your own life, to have humility enough to say, in what ways have I not been loving myself? In what ways have I allowed relationships to get out of control? In what ways can I love myself and shift what is presented before me into being more than self-loving? Because I'm going to tell you something, nobody out there is perfect. I am not perfect. I am still making mistakes in my life. And we are all a product of our environment, our rearing, our raising, our personality types, our internal continents, all of that. We're a product of these things, and nobody escapes from childhood without some wounds. Danaya had some wounds from her childhood. You have some from yours, and I have some from mine. So rather than focusing on anybody else, focus on yourself while watching this. And then let's see what we can do to make our lives better. What I'm going to look to see what I can do to make my own life better. And I want you to look and see what you can do to make your life better. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Because if we're just sitting around watching and pointing at other people, there's three fingers pointing back at us. The only difference is that we're not doing the work if we're pointing at others. So let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. And also, one thing that I want you to keep in mind is that this is her version. This is her version. So this is all alleged. Let's just keep that in mind because there's no proof. All right, let's jump into it.
I get myself into, right?
Okay, let's make sure that our sound is good over here. Were you all able to hear that? How was the sound on that? Was the volume good, low, high? Talk to me about that. And then I'm going to turn it up just a little bit just in case. And then just let me know in the comments if, how it is for you. Okay. Let's go all the way back.
What did I get myself into, right? And now I'm practicing toxicity, right?
Mm.
I'm practicing toxic behavior and cycles with holding things in, not talking about it, and then either being passive aggressive or just super aggressive,
Yeah.
but nothing in between. And then he has no idea what's going on because he doesn't know what I'm freaking out about.
And what you done seen,
Right.
What prompted you to start looking through his phone?
I would always get like a feeling, or he would touch me different, right? So after most rape victims are very sensitive to touch. And so any sign of him touching me, any type of, any different, I'm like, there has to be somebody else. There has to be,
You're
right?
talking about with a change of a touch.
With a change of a touch. There has to be, right? And so I would go snooping around because I'm a snooper.
I never imagined my public healing would
Wow.
inspire others to heal across.
All right. So that's his intro. Let's fast forward through this intro. And it looks like he's talking about a whole bunch of different people. Oh, wow. So he has a trigger warning. This video contains sensitive content related to SA. Viewer discretion advised. Please prioritize your well-being and consider skipping or seeking support if this topic is distressing you. Oh, I know that's right. Okay. I feel
Miracles
that.
and manifestation. We've been believing God to do some amazing things. God would. In here now.
I am in here.
You are on the yellow
I am
couch.
comfortable. I am on the yellow couch. You have treated me well since I've been here. Thank you.
So tell me, what made you decide to do this? I mean, there's a lot of people that come and they've been DMing you and trying to get you to come on their platforms. Why have you said no to all of them and yes to the Dear Future Wifey podcast?
One, because the Lord didn't give me permission to go on any other platforms. So I have to be obedient to him. And when you reached out to me, it was automatic, like, yes. And so here I am, being obedient to the Lord. But second to that is that I haven't had an opportunity to have a voice or to have my voice heard. It's been drowned out with all of the noise, all of the drama surrounding my life and marriage and all of that. So I appreciate you creating a safe space for me to come and speak about my truth, my life, and allow my voice to be heard so that others can be healed and made whole as I testify.
You know, on the podcast, we have a mantra. We say we keep it lit. We live intentionally and transparently.
Yes.
Are you going to keep it lit today?
Lit all the way,
All the way.
turned up.
You and I have had some conversations in the pre-interview.
I'm sorry. People are looking at my face. I didn't want to stop the video so soon. She's saying her voice was drowned out by other people. Dear, your voice was drowned out by your actions, by the way that you were behaving online. You have a platform that people went to, hundreds of thousands of people went to your platform looking to see what you wanted to say. And what you wanted to say was putting curses, marking spells, reading from, oh my gosh. Dear, oh my goodness, I'm gonna keep going forward because people didn't. Oh gosh. Well,
We've been getting to know each other for about the last week and a half.
Yes.
And man, when I tell you, I've been blown away by your transparency, your vulnerability. You know, and social media had this way of trying to make you look like you crazy.
Yes.
And when I met you, I talked to you, I was like, this girl, not only is she not crazy, she's absolutely brilliant. So
Wow.
What was that? What was that about?
Well, I think the world did not see me for so many years, so they have nothing to go off of.
Facts.
And so they're seeing me for the first time when all of this crazy stuff is going on. And then I'm sitting up here talking about Jesus, talking about a helmet of salvation. So it's like, oh, she has lost her mind. She is
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
right. And I'm like, I'm saying I have a sound mind.
I ain't gonna be able to. I ain't gonna be able to do it. Can you do it? I ain't gonna be able to do it. Can you do it? I ain't gonna be able to do it. Can you do it? I ain't gonna be able to do it. Listen, I put them away. I didn't think I was going to it out. I didn't think I was going to have to pull it out, but I see. I see. I see. I see. Something is not right with me. Something is not right. Something is not right with me. Something here. Listen. I'm sorry, Lord. Please. Listen. Listen. Wait. Oh my goodness. Oh. Listen. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue going forward. Listen, this host is not holding this woman accountable for her own behavior. The internet didn't make her seem... Let me continue going forward. I apologize. Listen. Let's continue going forward.
Mind, and I know what's going on right now because I've been delving into the word. I'm discerning the time that I'm in from a spiritual state, and
Right.
now I'm trying to protect what sanity I do have with the word of God. So I think that's kind of what fueled all of that. They're trying to get a feel for who I am.
But you haven't always been a Christian.
No.
No. I want to take an opportunity to get to know you before we talk about what everybody wants to know, because like I said, I want to provide this opportunity for us to get to know you,
Yes.
Danaya, outside of your spouse. Who is Danaya?
Danaya is a girl from Denver, Colorado, born and raised. I have some brothers and three brothers and a sister. And while I was introduced to Christianity and actually did have some roots in the church, you know, I had to figure out that on my own. I had to identify with Christ and believing in him on my own. And so when I was younger, I had a belief in Christ, but I felt like I was doing it more so because that's what I was supposed to do.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to believe in God. You're supposed to do this. And I'm very shy. I'm very reserved and laid back. But then at the same time, you can get a side of me that's very just like let's throw some spikes in your hair and like just go, do something completely odd that nobody's expecting. So you kind of get a range there. And so that's me pretty much in a nutshell. Very reserved. I'm very loyal. Sometimes clearly to my own detriment.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit about me.
Well, when you say loyal to your own detriment, has that always been the case?
I feel like it has, at least in my adult years. Probably not so much as a child, but
Listen, let me tell you something. Listen. She is telling you herself. She is reserved, she is this, but then she can also go and do something far out. And so when you start saying, oh, people thought I was crazy, and then also I see somebody saying, if we were in her shoes, we would not laugh. I beg you, everybody out there, find a way to step outside of your program and find ways that you can laugh at some of the hardships that you've gone through, detaching yourself and really getting onto the other side, doing the inner work and finding a way that you can look back on it and say, you know what, and speak on it earnestly.
when I'm looking back on why that is, it stems back to a root of like rejection and abandonment that I had. And so as I grew up into my adult life, I definitely would say it was more in that aspect. So
when you think about abandonment, what do you go back on? When you hear yourself say, when I think about the abandonment that I've come from, let's unpack that.
yeah, so abandonment, with my father, I had teenage parents. My mom was 16 when she had me. My father was 18. they never really had a relationship per se. They were just supposed to be playing video games.
They were playing with other things.
Surprise! Here you go. Merry Christmas, right? Because my birthday's in December, a couple days before Christmas. So
Okay.
video games, here I go, the present. And so, there's a little bit of rejection and abandonment there, right? Because I never really had parents that were a couple,
Yeah.
right? And then because of that, there was some question about whether or not I was actually my father's or not. And so then I had that, even though I wasn't even born yet to receive that per se, but that still affected me because I grew up and found out about that. And then there was rejection. And then just the relationship that I had with my father growing up, I felt like he just wasn't as present as he could be, or he would always not come through or follow through on his promises when he said he would do something. And so that all affected me. And then boom, he died when I was 12. And so then, I'm just left to try to figure out this thing on my own. And so there's abandonment, there's rejection there. And as I was younger, I used to be like a tomboy per se, right? And that was because I wanted the affection of my father. I had two brothers at the time, and so they were playing football. He was their football coach. He was involved in all their activities, and I'm over here, just this little chubby girl over here.
You're chubby.
I was
back
fat. I was fat,
You're a fat little girl.
I was. My mom was in culinary school at the time, so she was practicing, and I was eating.
He was helping her pass her assignments.
Exactly. And so I would try to, win his affection and his love by trying to be like a tomboy, like my brothers, like play football. I wanted to be on a football team. My mom was like, absolutely not. But all of that stemmed from my childhood, and then that transformed as I grew older, and then transformed into the relationship that everybody is interested in. So,
Okay, I want you all to take a few moments right now to think about your childhood. Think about the relationship that you have with your parents. Think about the relationship that your parents had with each other, and then your individual parents, the relationship they had with you. And one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to take a look at how that set up the foundation for how you view yourself, how you view relationships. And another thing that I want to do is I want us to elicit the help of a trained psychological professional to help us weed through what it is that we have gone through in our lives. See a therapist. Even if it's just for a little while, see a professional therapist, because there are ways that you can work things out in your mind and still be playing the victim of your circumstances and not really having got onto the other side of your circumstances for true healing. And so I want us to be able to, that when we look back, to examine how our lives have unfolded and how it is that we got to where it is that we are now. You can draw a conclusion based on a false premise. You know what I mean? So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's look back and see how our relationships with our parents, with the parent of the same sex, the parent of the opposite sex, and see how that altered what it is that we found acceptable in our relationships.
So, did you deal with any type of childhood trauma when you think about it outside of abandonment?
So again, my dad did never follow really through on his promises. So when I would go over there, sometimes that would cause some issues between him and my stepmom, and then I would be at my grandma's house. And so
You say it was cause issues like what? What do you mean?
so they would just have like their little arguments or whatever, and I felt like it was always about me. But of course, I'm a child, so
Yeah.
I don't know adult things at that time. But how I internalized it and what I carried with me is that, oh, this is about me being over here. Now I'm over here, I'm disrupting their little family union, and my mom is over here, and I feel like maybe she's jealous of my mom or something like that, and this is all going on while I'm a child. So this is what I grew up with what the capacity that I had. And so that was pretty much the main trauma that I had. I didn't have another trauma until I was 19, where I was raped. And so I still kind of include that in childhood trauma. So
It's been an interesting thing with this season of the podcast. It's like almost every woman that has sat down on this couch during this season have dealt with sexual trauma, sexual assault, rape.
Yes.
It was a statistic that I read that was 1 in 5 women have dealt with sexual assault, and then now they said there's probably 1 in 3 or something like crazy.
In the Black community, it's much higher.
What happened in that? Was it a boyfriend, a date rape situation, a relative, or what happened? If you don't mind sharing.
So I was 19. I was on summer from college actually, and I was going out to a party that I didn't tell my mom about. I was, doing my own thing, and I went there, and I did have an ex-boyfriend there, and a couple other people, my family, my brothers were there, and their friends and things like that. And so we were all drinking, having a good time. I was downstairs, and one of the people there decided that they, seen me, and they wanted what they wanted. And so I was grabbed from behind. I was pushed down, and then, there's that story of being raped, but everybody was upstairs, so they couldn't hear me downstairs, in the basement screaming with over the music and all of that. So
How'd you process that? Did you tell anybody?
I did not process it. And so here, I did not process it at all. I didn't tell anybody. In fact, then I didn't go home that night. I actually stayed in the house with my abuser, right? Well, not like in the same place, but they were like upstairs, I stayed the night. I didn't tell my mom where I was at. And I actually lied to her and told her, hey, I was at my uncle's house with my aunt and my brothers. And so I never told her, and I never told anybody else. I actually held it for 5 years. And then I briefly mentioned it to Derrick at one point because he was talking to someone at the time. And then it came up like in the conversation. I was like, I was raped, and this just triggered that. And he was like, what? So he didn't even find out till 5 years. And it was just brief conversation. And then I never really dealt with it. I never got that therapy or counseling. And I didn't get that until I was 30, which at that point was about 12 years after the experience. And when I started unpacking it, I started to realize how much that single event really affected my life, affected my sex life in marriage, affected my mental and emotional state, affected almost every aspect that I didn't even know that it was affecting.
First of all, thank you for sharing that. It's always hard for me to hear that. I'm trying to be present at because I have a daughter.
Yes.
And one of the things that I was super vigilant about that, because me and her mom wasn't together as my daughter was matriculating through her adolescent years. And I was always like super like, who you dating? Who's this guy? I want to know. Like I was just on edge because I said, I just never wanted my daughter to ever have to experience that, and for me to have to experience that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how I would have reacted and responded.
And we're doing all of these conversations with our daughters, but our daughters are not the ones who are capital R wording people by and large. So it's like, when are people going to start having conversations with their sons, with their nephews, with their cousins, with their boys, with their brothers, with their uncles? When are people going to start having these conversations among the people who are creating this trauma? When are we going to start having those conversations with the boys, the ones who are taking their body parts and wreaking this havoc? And I'm wondering how old she is, because the numbers just don't really seem to be adding up to me. If Derrick Jaxn got online when he was 21, I don't know how old she is, but this is very interesting because it's like, if they knew each other since they were teenagers, that means that they knew each other probably during this time. and she still held all of this inside. And she says she didn't get help for it until she was 31. I'm glad that she did get help. And so this is what I'm saying. It's imperative that we seek professional mental health counseling from the best professional that you can find. And if there's a person who does not work for you, find someone different. So she's 33, so she just started seeking help for this 2 years ago. That was that was during the pandemic. That was during the time that all of this stuff was happening with the Jacksons. All right.
You know, it's
Um,
hard. It's hard when you have girls, and a lot of times it happens with people that you know
yeah.
and that you trust, right? So my abuser is somebody that I know or knew, and so your guard is automatically let down. It's not something that you can
Yeah.
anticipate. So it's like, okay, you're doing the right thing, asking the questions where you're at, what you're doing,
Yeah.
but sometimes you have to be like, I don't care who it is, uncle, brother, cousin,
Yeah.
grandpa. If you feel uncomfortable at all, I need you to let me know so then we can address it, you know? So
Again, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So you met your husband at what age, and how'd y'all meet?
at 19, we met in business calc class at Tuskegee University.
Hold on. So you met him shortly after
I
your
did.
rape experience?
I did 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
3 weeks after I met him in class. Yes. Right. And so then we add on another layer, right? I went straight into a relationship. Even though it wasn't like immediately we started dating, but I met him and there was interest there. I went straight into that without even acknowledging, dealing with the rape. I pretended like it never even happened and got myself into a relationship unhealed. So
What attracted you to Derrick?
he's very charming. He's very charming. When you see him, he has a charisma and a presence about him that is just like, it sucks you in automatically. And then he's very funny. And so that humor drew me in as well. Of course, he has the looks to go with it. So there's that.
So it's a perfect little balance
Yeah,
of
it's a
everything.
perfect balance of it all.
And so when you first saw him, did you just see him as somebody that, oh, I'm interested in him? Where is he pursuing you, or y'all start off as friends and it evolved to something greater? Or
Yeah,
what?
so I actually was very quiet. Again, I'm pretty quiet overall and to myself, but he see me in class. I was the quiet girl in class, and he was like, "Hey, are you a model?" I was like, I used to do some modeling, right? Because I had all these pictures of me doing some modeling stuff from high school and all that on my little binder.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still having this high school mentality with all the pictures on the binder. So I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to put all these picture collage on here, right? And so I had all that on there. And he was like, "What? Did you model?" And I was like, "I used to do some modeling." And he's like, "Can you tutor me?" I was like, "Yeah."
So you wasn't just a quiet girl, you was a smart girl too?
Yes, quiet and smart, right? And I had these crazy braids in my hair that were not upkept. I had pimples all over my face. So it's like one of those classic movies where it's like that, the ugly duckling, smart girl in the corner, and then all of a sudden, look at this face, you know? You're right. And so it was like one of those classic fairy tale kind of stories in that regard. But he asked me to tutor him. We met up in the library, and I'm so awkward. He's like, I'm sitting on the opposite end of the table, and I'm just like this.
You took me way across.
Yeah,
the thing.
way across. And I'm just like, "Okay, are you ready?" And he's like, why are you so like stiff? Like, why are you sitting that far? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Oh, it is okay to like be a little bit closer.
Had you not been in a relationship before then? You haven't had a boyfriend?
I had a high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
And but it was I went to an all-white high school.
Okay.
So, okay, let's put this in some context. I went to all-white high school pretty much. There were some black people there, of course, but it was different than going to all-black college. So,
Oh, yeah, the culture shock.
culture shock, right? And so
You said, where all this swag coming from? These
right.
guys
I don't even know what this means. Like, I don't know what that is. It's different in a more diverse or lack of diverse school. And so it was an adjustment all around. And so I had to get used to that because he introduced me to a whole new world of Black culture. I got my Black stripe going to Tuskegee and being in this relationship. So,
And so how did it transition from you being his tutor to him tutoring you in some things?
that is good. That's good. I got schooled, okay, for years.
Oh my
we after the tutoring, we were having conversations nearly daily. Like the first 3 days, it felt like I know him for my whole life.
Yeah.
And literally, we were
Love
on the
bombing.
phone, sleeping on the phone. Like those first 3 days, having all kinds of conversations. And it was like, oh my gosh, I've known you all my life. This is a fairy tale. I love you. Like when are we getting married and having kids? Like it was all
Were you
of
thinking
that.
this or were you saying this?
All of the
Y'all were talking about marriage and stuff?
Not necessarily marriage, but it was definitely
Having
like
kids?
I like you. Like I've known you my whole life. This is so easy.
Yeah.
Like where have you been?
Yeah.
This is right here in this
19
moment.
years old.
Yes.
Where have you been all my life?
Exactly.
All the 19 years of my existence.
Exactly. All 19 years of my life. I miss you. I love you. This is what, and so it was great. It's pure ecstasy. And so from there, we spent pretty much every day together. And about 1 month after just meeting, he asked me to be his girlfriend on Valentine's Day. So that was like our unofficial anniversary for years. He had this big old heart and he had his shirt off and he was like, will you be my girlfriend?
He had his shirt off?
Yes. He was fine too. I was like, yes, Danaya, look at you. Everybody thought you were a nerd, but here you go.
That's what I'm about to say. What were people thinking?
The
Here you were this
ego.
quiet little nerdy girl
The
that you said
ego.
that had pimples all over your face, but then you get the
Doesn't match.
you get the sexy. What did he play football?
He
or
did
anything?
play football.
So you got the sexy jock. What was
Fire.
that about?
Fire. Like for me, that's what I was thinking. Like, listen, Danae, you have upgraded. You are coming into it, right? And so
I want us to think. Listen. I'm going to tell you all this right now. Go ahead and watch the video in full on the original channel because I'm going to be stopping the video so that we can have a discussion. I want us all to think about how ego has played in staying in relationships too long. There's a lot of people who talk about what other people have done to them. Let's think about some of the things that we have willingly done to ourselves, the situations that we allowed ourselves to be in because our egos were like attached to the idea of a person. All right, do that.
I think there was a lot of hatred overall.
Yeah.
Most people didn't say a whole lot, but I think there's a lot of hatred about it. And then it's like, it doesn't match because he is more outgoing.
Yeah.
And personable, and I'm just like, the literally awkward Black girl that went to an all-white high school. So there's a balance there.
What did he see?
This guy, this is like the funniest thing he ever heard. This is interesting. He's like, he doubled over in laughter.
In you.
I mean, this situation is tragic. This woman just said that she attached her identity to this man. Like, oh, look at you. People thought you were this nerdy girl, but look at who you snagged. That same attitude probably kept her in this situation too long. Mike, I don't see how this is funny. Is it me? I'm just not getting it.
Because he had to have said that to you before. What did he see in you?
Okay. So he said that he liked that I was like smart, and of course he loved my eyes. And I feel like now, like looking back on it, I feel like there was a lot of compliments on like the physical attributes, as opposed to more of the mental and emotional attributes that I had. But then again, we were in love after 3 days, so. Seriously. And
So you weren't chubby no more in college, huh?
I still had a little bit of chub. I was in the marching band for a little bit, so I was I had slimmed down a little bit there, but I still had a little bit of weight on me, but it was proportion. I feel like,
It was enough for him to like her.
enough. Listen, he did not complain, and I wasn't complaining either. So there's that.
There's that. 3 days we in love. We're going to get married and have a bunch of kids.
Absolutely. Listen, I made him them peanut butter jelly sandwiches. He was, listen, you ain't going nowhere.
I want us to pay attention. Between the laughter and the kiki and the hee and the ha-ha, you ain't going nowhere. People was hating on us because it was a mismatch. Look at what I pulled. Look at what I got.
White or wheat? I made white or wheat. You like the crust on or what?
Yeah, you trimmed the little crust around the side.
Sure did. Real story.
Cut into a little heart and give it to him. This
Exactly.
our anniversary sandwich.
Exactly. I actually really did that. Believe it or not.
I know we always try to do the best we can with whatever gesture we had at that moment.
Yes.
So I love it. I love that they call it puppy love.
Yes.
I love that moment. And so y'all were in college together. You were 19. Are y'all around the same age?
Yes, he was 19 as well. He's 5 months older than me.
5 months older than you. Y'all both 19. Y'all both in college. And when did it change from dating to engagement? How long did that take?
9 years.
9 years.
Yes, we got married 9 years later.
9 years later.
So it's a long time.
That's a long time. But it makes sense when you start off at 19.
Yes.
You know, so you got married around 28.
Yes.
About 28.
Yeah.
$19 plus 9, 28. This is insane. Not insane. Let me not say it's insane, but this is really wow. So we're talking about this relationship that traverses all the way from college at the age of 19. And because Derrick Jaxn got online when he was 21. So he was on the line. This is what I'm saying, these numbers. But now that she's saying it, laying it out, these numbers are adding up. But what it's adding up into is a tragic tale. So 19 they met, 21, 19, 20, 21. 2 years later, he's online giving out all of this advice to women. Meanwhile, he has this woman that he's been, that he'd started courting for 2 years. And then so they really literally just got married right before all of this blew up. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how old I was when I got married. So you're 28 years old, and y'all were in a committed relationship. Were there any infidelity or cheating during that 9 years?
I can't really say commitment is a big word. So let's tone that down a little bit. Commitment is a big word.
I got to tone the word.
Yo. I gotta rewind this, and I just have to let you see this man. He's falling back in his chair. This is so funny that commitment is such a big word. Look.
Y'all were in a committed relationship. Were there any infidelity or cheating during that 9 years?
I can't really say commitment is a big word. So let's tone that down a little bit. Commitment is a big word.
Well, I got to tone the word commitment down.
We do.
Y'all was in a relationship.
We got to tone it all the way down.
Okay, we're going to tone it down to Danaya. What we're going to call it?
So we're going to call it a situationship.
Y'all was in a situationship.
We was in a situationship for a long time.
So y'all never, after 3 days in love, y'all didn't say, let's make it official?
We were technically official, but there was a lot of on and offs agains, right? In that. So that's why I say when we talk about commitment, we got to tone it all the way down. We got to go back to the elementary level.
This ain't fucking funny. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lash out like that, but this ain't fucking funny. This is not fucking funny. I need to take a break, y'all. I need to take a break. I heard some apples come through. Let me go ahead and read the apples. This is not fucking funny, not to me. we're uncovering the story of this relationship guru who was giving out all of this advice publicly, but how he did his relationship behind the scenes. I need us all to be looking for self-love lessons in this, for ways that we've discounted ourselves, ways that we have ignored red flags, as well as ways that we sit up and talk to people who are laughing in our effing face. I don't know. This is just, I don't know. And then now you see, but you know what? Laughter lightens things. So maybe he's just lightening the air with laughter. So I can't say nothing about that. Let's just go ahead and let's get these apples pulled up and let's read some of the apples. If you want to send a Cash App through, the link is in the description of this video, but you can also go to www.cash.app/$TONYATKO. So there you have that. Let's go ahead and just pull up these apples. This is unbelievable. All right, let's see what we have here. Ultimate Enigma sends 333. And she sends 333 again. It says, the message is real. Hug, sis. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. SAM sends $2 and says, it's giving social media PR, but thoughts and prayer. Yeah. But you know what? The thing is, you never really know how you behave when you're in a situation that could be overwhelming, that could be a lot happening. You're trying to engage with your guests, trying to keep the guests happy, trying to keep the air light, especially when it's a heavy topic. So there could be a lot going on. You can go ahead and send your apples through. I'll check them again in about, let's see, I'll check them again in 15 minutes. So by the time we get to the half-hour mark, I'm going to check the apples again. But yeah, let's continue. You know what? Let's take a quick commercial break for the text notification squad, and then we'll come back with the watch party. I just need to just clear my head. This is a lot. Are you tired of missing Tonya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TonyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today for just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance. $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance. You'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TonyaTKO.com/text. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, I am your host, Tonya TKO. We are watching the video of Derrick Jaxn, who is having a conversation on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, where she is going over this boondoggle of a relationship, this boondoggle of a marriage, and all of this other stuff that she shared with embattled relationship expert Derrick Street Meat Jaxn. This is his wife right here. She's all made up and all done up. She got her hair braided down, and she's having a conversation on this podcast, letting people know what her life was like before, during, and I guess after Derrick Jaxn. She talked about an SA that she experienced when she was 19. 3 weeks later, she met Derrick Jaxn. She didn't get help for it until 2 years ago. And this was around the time, can somebody get me the date for when when the story broke about Derrick Jaxn being this infidel. Was that 2 years ago? Was all of this crumbling down in her life around the same time? Um, I, d- I just need to say this. After she talked about the SA that happened to her, everything else after that is painted under the wash of this SA, because she went right into this relationship with this guy who was apparently love bombing her. He was the football dude. She was this chubby girl uh who had pimples, and her hair was looking crazy. She was raised in an area where she went to an all white school, and then she got into this relationship where it was on and off again for years. He was on here talking about not making a person a baby mama, and she was his baby mama because their children are over 3 years old. She wasn't, listen, so she was a baby mama. I don't know how old their children are. Maybe she'll talk about it in this or the next episode, but Derrick Jaxn was a fraud with his words through and through. And you know what? I want us to take a look at ourselves, because in what ways are we saying one thing and living another? I know that I have personally said one thing and lived another. How do we get congruous? How do we become congruent with what's happening with us behind the scenes and who it is that we are purporting to be? This is an opportunity for us to look at ourselves and have a self-love learning lesson for ourselves in this. Oh my goodness.
Of the word and start at the
Yeah,
beginning.
start at the beginning.
And,
Okay.
And yes, there was commitment at times.
At times.
But there was a lot of on and off again. Okay, and through college and even after college, lots of on and off again. And so leading up to our marriage, we were actually off, right? We were actually off. We were living in North Carolina at the time, 2015, going into 2016, late 2016. We went our separate ways because there was other people involved, and there had already been other people involved even in college, right? And so
Be specific. Other people, what you mean?
other women. There was
Did you ever have other guys that you were dating?
In college there was a guy, Fabian, who I was
You
talking.
didn't say the man's name. You didn't say the man's name. Fabian,
Listen,
mind his own business. He over
listen,
here
he's-
watching the Dear Future Wife podcast.
He's
Oh,
not.
doggone.
He's not. He is no longer with us, unfortunately.
Okay. God rest his soul.
Yes. And so in college there was that, but it wasn't necessarily a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I actually had used him to I used him to set Derrick up because I was tired of him being with all these girls and catching him and going through his phone and watching him do all of his stuff with these girls. And I was working with this guy, and I was like, listen, I need you to help me to get him back. And I want to set this up. And we're going to make it look like we're, this great couple. Like I'm cheating over here and all this. So he helped me. He was, he did. And
So what you do? So how'd y'all set it up?
so
What y'all
we had
do?
the same car. We had the same type of car, which was a Subaru, one of those like Fast and Furious type of cars.
How you get one of those? You had some little money growing up.
Listen, my uncle is a car guy.
Okay.
And so he gave me a car because I was a straight A student, clearly. Look at my pimples and my straight A's, right? And so he gave me a car.
Subaru. She was fly on campus.
I had a 2000 Subaru Impreza, and it was blue, and we had the same car. His was just like 2 years.
You said you and Fabian.
Yeah, we had the same car. So I would set up times for us to go race, and we worked together. So clearly, I was at work when I wasn't in class. So there's that. And then I would set up times where I would be like, let's meet up at this place. And, I knew Derrick would find out about it, and I wanted him to, because I wanted him to pay.
You want him to be jealous?
I wanted him to. I've sat there and literally looked through his phone and watched him have sex with other girls.
On the phone.
On the phone. I literally watched it. And so that was soul crushing, at that time. This is well before we're married, but I've seen it multiple times, multiple girls, several. This is just in college. We're not talking even about marriage.
After that, we're going to get there in a little bit. We're going
Right?
to talk about straight college. How did we get here?
So there was a lot of anger and bitterness, and I never once really confronted him about it. I always kind of like sat on it and just buried it. Mostly I feel like now I'm looking back on it, it was a fear of rejection and abandonment.
Because you felt like if you spoke up, he was going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I don't want him to leave me. Like, so I have to just take this. But then at the same time, it was creating this deep-seated hatred and resentment and spitefulness. And so here I go, setting him up. And it worked.
Fabian. So how'd y'all set it up?
So we would be at work conspiring, and there's actually a group of us, all right? We would be at work conspiring, and I'm coming over, like, let me come over to your house, after this, or I'm gonna come out late, or I'm gonna tell him that I'm with all the girls, but we're gonna like link up and do this. So he can. I want him to see it. I want him to catch it. I want him to feel everything that I have been feeling with all these women, all these girls that he's been with. I want him to feel all of it. And I'm here for it.
And then what happened?
Well, years later, I'm still dealing. I was still dealing with the effects of it because I never really like confessed to setting him up until like way later. Like,
so you and Fabian never did nothing?
No,
y'all ain't kiss. Y'all didn't do nothing.
No.
And so you just kept that lingering for years as if y'all really did something.
Yes, I wanted Derrick to feel all of it.
And so what did he catch you doing? Just walking out of his apartment one day?
I honestly, I don't know what he really caught me doing. He never really told me what he caught me doing, but I know that he's at least seen us doing some racing. I know he's seen us maybe like going to like a meetup point and all of that. So
he never confronted you about that and was like, I know you cheating on me with Fabian.
Not in college. No, we're in marriage when we were dealing with unpacking that. And then he was like, you were cheating on your husband. And I was like, okay. Okay. Maybe I was emotionally cheating. Okay, I'll give you that. In college, 9 years before we ever got married. So I didn't cheat on my husband, but it was like, no, you cheated on your husband while we're in marriage. I'm like, no. You can't use that because we weren't married at the time. So
did you have an emotional affair with old Fabian? Did you like him?
No, I did not. I was dealing with some severe heartbreak, like the things that I seen Derrick doing with other women at the time, and I was really attached to him. And then you have to think I was coming off of that rape trauma.
Yep.
And so I never dealt with, that I never talked to anybody about. And so there was a lot of turmoil that I was having. I wasn't thinking about, oh, Fabian is this guy that I'm trying to be with. I'm thinking, how am I going to get this guy back? But then at the same time, I don't want him to leave.
Lose him. Yep.
But
you want him to feel the pain, but don't lose him.
Right. And it's like, what?
But then you're not even speaking up about what you saw.
Exactly, right? So these are all the issues that I brought into the relationship. Lack of
and
communication.
And the fact of not speaking up was the same thing that you practiced when you were sexually assaulted.
Exactly. So it just carried over, and I didn't realize the power of not speaking about the rape trauma until well after the fact. And I'm like, wow, what did I get myself into? Right? And now I'm practicing toxicity, right? I'm practicing toxic behavior and cycles with holding things in, not talking about it, and then either being passive aggressive or just super aggressive, but nothing in between. And then he has no idea what's going on.
Hold on. She continued to have intercourse with him after she saw him in videos with these other women. She continued to lay up in the house with him. She continued to pretend as if they were having this life after she had seen videos of him with other women on his phone. Yo, we really have to look at ourselves and just really just think. In what ways have we made the goal of a person more important than the actual person? Getting them to be faithful, getting them to show up, getting them to be present, getting them to want you, getting them to want to treat you right. In what ways have we ourselves, I'm putting that question, I'm putting that question out there. In what ways have, whew, we got 3 more minutes before the break, so let's continue watching. Wow, this is deep.
On because he doesn't know what I'm freaking out
And
about.
what you done seen,
Right.
what prompted you to start looking through his phone?
I would always get like a feeling, or he would touch me different, right? So after most rape victims are very sensitive to touch, and so any sign of him touching me, any type of like any different, I'm like, there has to be some, there has to be somebody else, there has to be,
You're
right?
talking about with a change of a touch.
With the change of a touch, there has to be, right? And so I would go snooping around because I'm a snooper. And when you seek, you shall find. That is a true biblical verse. So if you don't believe in the word of God, listen, let me tell you, when you seek, you will find. And when you find, you have to know what to do.
And what's so bad about it? People will find something, but then they won't do nothing about it.
Exactly.
Because they weren't prepared to leave.
And that was me.
You was like, I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna bust them, and then like, what you gonna do? Because you're not gonna even tell them that you busted
I
them.
did absolutely nothing. Sit there, cry, and okay, this is how I'm gonna get a little bit serious, right? Okay, I would seek, and I would find. I would sit in closets and cry, and I would be in there wanting him to find me in the closet crying. And when he would come and find me in the closet crying, then I would say, I'm just crying because I miss my dad. I would blame it on something else. And it would always mostly be about my dad. Like, oh, I'm crying. But it's really because I just sat here and watched you have sex with, or, right? So.
No, Danaya, there ain't no real people name. Is it? I don't want you throwing people name out here.
Okay. So we're just gonna keep on going.
We're gonna make fake names up. Okay,
We're gonna make fake. We're making all kinds of fake names up.
Okay, thank you.
Right now. All fake. All fake names.
All fake names.
Okay. So
you watch him have sex with Sue.
Yeah, and Sue and Jane and Jade and Sheila. That's a fake name, right? I don't know.
That's a fake name. That's not a real person.
Seriously though, I would sit there and watch that, especially in college. I would literally sit in closets, or I would sit on the side of the dresser and be crying, and I would be there, and I would stay there in that space until he came back, from wherever he was, and he could find me, and then he can console me. But he didn't really know he was consoling me about his indiscretion as opposed to the lie that I told him. Right. And so all of that is toxic behavior. And I had to go back and really deal with that later on once I started to realize that, hey, Danaya, you are not well. You are not okay. And really deal with why I was doing that and unpack it. So.
And so on again, off again, situationship, commitment, lack thereof, 9 years, you go through this. And you said right before y'all got married or got engaged, y'all wasn't even together. Please help me understand that.
Yeah. So before we move.
Yo. There's a lot to unpack here. There really is. There's a lot to unpack. One of the things that I'm just really surprised about is I'm surprised she was able to get a person like Derrick Jaxn to even marry her. Like, how did she wrangle him into matrimony? That must have been quite an ego boost for her to be able to do something like that. And then did she feel like she'd won? And what was it that she had actually won? I want to ask you all some questions. This is another homework question for you. In what ways have you participated in toxic behavior in a relationship, wanting to make yourself suffer so that your partner could, quote unquote, hurt? In what ways have you not spoken up about what it is that you need, what it is that you have seen or experienced or interpreted in a certain way, not brought that up, and not had open conversations with your partner about this? And then in what ways has winning a partner, winning over a person, superseded who it is that you were actually winning? Those are three questions that I want for you all to answer for yourselves. And then we're going to jump into these apples. So let's read these real quick. This is something else. All right. So Miss Berry sends $5 and says, "It's a mess. By the way, loving the cut and color, sweetie." Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yolanda sends $1 and says, "This interview scares me." What about the interview scares you? What scares you? I'm curious. Nettie sends $3 and says, "Welcome back." Thank you, Net. I appreciate that. Donique sends $2 to support the show. Thank you. LaShawn sends 444 and says, "Thanks for covering this. This guy is pissing me off." Child, listen, there's some stuff going on over here. Jabrail sends $5 and says, "Glad to see you back," from Mila Litty. Okay, well, welcome back to you too, Mila Litty. Sam says, "I mean, it's her love story. Hashtag conflicted." This is really an opportunity for all of us to see the self-love lessons for ourselves. We've all dated. We've all done things that we could have done differently. You know what I mean? We've all done things we could have done differently. So yeah. So we're going to be doing a group coaching soon. We're going to be starting it up right as we're getting into June. So if you're on my mailing list, if you're on the text notification squad, you're going to hear about it first. First text notification squad, then mailing list, and then after that, I'll announce it to the public with a link where you all can sign up. But we're pretty much going to be together for 3 months. And we're going to do once a week coaching for 2 hours. And we're really going to dive into some ways that we can create change, real shifts in our lives. Coaching is not therapy. Therapy helps you unpack the past. Coaching helps you put things together for the future. Once you've unpacked the past and you know where it is that you have come from, when it's time for you to go into another direction, therapy doesn't really help you get to where it is that you want to be, besides unpacking what it is that has happened. But when you want to start making plans for the future, implementing, homework for yourself, activities to be able to shift from where it is that you were to where it is that you want to go, coaching is specifically for that. So like if you let's say there's anything that you want to do, like let's say you want to travel the world, or you want to be more in your power, right? There may be some reasons that you're not in your power. Once you uncover those reasons, how do you then step into your power? And coaching is really really designed for helping you get to where it is that you want to be. So look for that. I am going to be offering that. This is the first one that I'm going to do, and I'd like to do things like this. However, with the busyness that exists behind the scenes, this is going to be the first one. And so if you're interested in something like that, you can go to my website, and you can click to join my mailing list. Let's see. If you go to TonyaTKO.com and you do /subscribe, you can subscribe to the mailing list. And if you've ever sent me a message on my website, you already subscribed to the mailing list if you've clicked 1 over there. And if you're on the text notification squad, to join the text notification squad, the link is in the description, but I'll put it right here: www.tonyatko.com. and then /TEXT, right? So here we go. So like somebody who's like in a position like Danaya is in, and she's in a state of unrest and turmoil, and her life has gone through this upheaval. You see that she's done some different changes with herself. She's for this interview, she's put on makeup and dressed in a certain way, to put forward a certain image. When it comes to creating lasting change in our lives, we have to figure out who it is that we want to be. And therapy and coaching combined can help you figure out who it is. How did you get to be who it is that you were before? When you understand that, how do you get to be who it is that you want to be? And I'm going to assist you through that process. So stay tuned for that. Text notification squad. We do have a Telegram behind the scenes where we meet between sessions, or we talk between sessions. And with the coaching group, we're going to have a special group where we work with one another behind the scenes on that. So I will see you all in that coaching group, the ones who are feeling called to do it. All right, so here. So you know what, as a matter of fact, during the next break, I'll come up with the link so that those who are interested in the coaching, you'll be able to take the survey, and then we'll go from there. This is very deep, very, very deep. Let's continue.
Moved to Atlanta. We were off.
Hold on. So for somebody who's not in a relationship with a person, they went from going to school in Tuskegee to living in North Carolina together, to then living in Atlanta together. So they are a lot of different places together for people who were not in a solid relationship. And I wonder how much of that was orchestrated by her actions. How much of that was, I don't want to let him get away, so I'm going to move to North Carolina. I don't want to let him get away, so I'm going to move to XYZ. I wonder how much of that was her just really working on making sure that even with the infidelities, even with all of this, that he would, quote unquote, stay in this relationship by any means necessary.
You said right before y'all got married or got engaged, y'all wasn't even together. Please help me understand that.
Yeah. So before we moved to Atlanta, we were off. We got off because he was dealing with some girls and things like that, and it was a issue. And at that point, I was very like hostile and all that towards him. Just like, I'm not gonna deal with this, and you're a, F boy and all these things, right? I had some different kind of choice words and language at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lord saved me, my mouth. Thank God for deliverance.
I want you all to just pay attention to something real quick, because we teach people what's safe, how is it safe to interact with us. And he's been laughing for a lot during this interview, and I want you to just pay attention to this next part, because she's going to start talking to him and he's not going to laugh, and then you're going to see what it is that she's going to do to elicit that laugh from him. So let me just put this up right here. Oops, right here.
And unpack it.
And so on again, off again, situationship, commitment, lack thereof, 9 years, you go through this. And you said right before y'all got married or got engaged, y'all wasn't even together. Please help me understand that.
Yeah. So before we moved to Atlanta, we were off. We got off because he was dealing with some girls and things like that, and it was a issue. And at that point,
I want you to see how she's testing the waters. She's talking to him and she's like, there was an issue. Notice he doesn't laugh. So then now she's like, okay, well, we've had this type of rapport so far. She makes this statement. She gives a chuckle as, the cue for him, Mr. Chuckle-Lots, right? So Sir Chuckle-a-Lots is not chuckling. And then she then has to go into a rolling joke at her own expense, I suppose. But I just want you to pay attention, because we all do things like that.
I was very like hostile and all that towards him. Just like, I'm not going to deal with this, and you're a, F boy and all these things, right? I had some different kind of choice words and language at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lord saved me, my mouth. Thank God for deliverance.
And then she got that payoff. she was then able to elicit that chuckle from him. So now she knows, okay, well, if I say, these types of things, I can get that chuckle back from him. So I want us to just all pay attention to when we do things like that. Because remember, this is really not about her. It's really about each one of us looking at ourselves and figuring out, figuring out how this happens in our own lives. So I got the link for you all. So let me just pass this link to you all real quick, for the coaching group, which is going to be the Sister Circle. I'm putting the link right there. In here for you all to take the survey. There's the survey. It should show up on all platforms. It is a survey for you to take, for you to, and you can insert your email address in there so that you can get a notification for when it's time for us to do the coaching group. So I put that in there. All right. So let's continue. So she got the laugh that she wanted. So there.
Deliverance.
I think a lot of people give you a pass on whatever word you decide to use back then.
But no, at that time I had asked him, I was like, do you believe the things that you're saying, right? Because this is at the beginning of his career really like taking off. And I'm like, do you believe the things that you're saying? And it really caused a rift. And so we were off. And so that time that we were off, we were still messing
because
around.
You questioned whether or not he believed that which he was sharing with the masses on avoiding F-boys and that type of stuff. Y'all fell out because you asked him if he truly believed what he was saying?
I asked him that, yes. It was a big thing, and we did fall out, along with the fact that there was actually other girls at the time. And so it was just all too much. And so we end up ending that, and then we both end up moving to Atlanta, right? From there.
How y'all keep moving to the same place?
Soul tie. Listen, people underestimate the power of a soul tie.
Yep.
And it's a soul tie. And I had no idea what that was at the time, and neither did he, right? And so
it was like, who would move there first? Did you find yourself following after him, or just?
No. So we had actually planned to move there prior to, because we were living in Raleigh, North Carolina at the time. We had already planned to move there, but there was so much. I had caught him with some other girls. The girl actually reached out to me, sent me their conversations and their pictures and all this stuff, and I was freaking out on him. And then we were like, okay, this has to end. So we had already planned to move.
So at this time, you were 27, 20?
No, we were early 20s. Yeah, so about 25.
All right, so y'all lived in Raleigh around that time, moved to Atlanta.
Yeah, we moved to Atlanta, and we had already had that in the works. I had already transferred jobs. We just hadn't made the move yet. So it was just,
y'all going to move together at first.
Right.
Even though y'all not in a committed, we're going to use that word loosely again. Were y'all in the...
We were in technically a committed relationship when we were in Raleigh, North Carolina, living together.
When y'all was making the plan to move together.
Right, when we were making the plan to move together, we were moving together like as a unit.
As a couple.
But we ended up falling out before then. And so while the plans were still on to move, I had already transferred jobs. He already had whatever he had going on. And so made the move. My mom came down and she helped me drive down to Atlanta. I had my own little space. Anyway, we were still engaging sexually,
of course,
even though we were off, right? And so it
was
in this time where there was a lineup of us. We was passing each other on the stairway in and out.
No, y'all wasn't.
No,
y'all was not passing
you think this is a game.
You were not passing each other on the stairway. No, y'all was.
We were passing each other on the stairway. Like, this is my shift from this time to this time. So, I was a willing participant in that. And this is like, I can laugh about it now, but it's really sad, to like, what space do you have to be in to accept that? And so I dealt with it already, so I could laugh about it now. And it's funny,
that's what healing
but
looks like. Healing, right? You look back at your old self and laugh.
I'm just like, what? But no, seriously. It was, I'm coming over at this time. I know such and such is going to be rolling through about, an hour and a half later. Yeah. And sometimes we went a little bit longer. So literally passing each other on the stairs, like out the door. All right, have fun, your shift, and literally. And so there was a lot of people involved at that time. We weren't in a relationship. So all the people that like,
God damn. I just need to address a few different things. I needed to take a break from that anyway, and I just need to address a few different things. I see that you all are talking about the difference between a soul tie and a trauma bond, right? I just wanted to address that very quickly. All right. So, number one, right? Oxytocin. Women produce oxytocin at a rate 5 times that of men. Oxytocin is a binding chemical that can make you feel attached to another person, right? Oxytocin is secreted at several different times after, after coitus, after you've had intercourse and you climax with a man or a woman or whomever, right? After you've climaxed, after you breastfeed and, you're looking into the eyes of your baby and all this other stuff, you secrete oxytocin, which makes you feel connected and bound, right? Feeling connected and bound and feeling attached to a person and having a soul tie. Look, I don't know. From what it is that I know about soul ties, soulmate relationships, and soul family and stuff, there are certain people that we were meant to interact with in this life. And these people show up as our soulmates, your sister, brother, father, these people, these soul family and friends that you have these bonds with, etc. Right? They share children together. They are part of each other's stories. So do they have soul ties? I can imagine that they were meant to meet in this life and they traveled and traversed time together with one another. And I don't know, something seems a little off to me. Something seems a little off in terms of, and you know what? And I don't expect for people to really do that deep psychological work publicly. But there's one of the things that's missing for me is really the ownership of really telling the truth about how we ended up in certain situations, right? Okay, so if you're going to a particular place and you've changed jobs and stuff like that, and your mother helps you drive down and all this other stuff, right? Okay. You have a relationship with your mother who's willing to help you drive down. You started some job, right? Or say you got some job. So if there's she said there was a lineup of us. I did not know what it is that she meant by that. It sound, especially when you talking about a person like Street Meat Jackson and with him having a rotation of women, right? And she's talking about passing each other in the stairs and just like that. But you pass each other in the stairs, but you still go to have intercourse in the night. That doesn't sound like, it sounds more like you're one of the people in the rotation who he ignores in public and then jumps up and down on top of you at night. And why is he jumping up and down on top of you at night? Is this something that you're initiating? Is this something that you're going forward towards? Because if this is a young lady who was talking about how she knew other women's bodies better than she knew her own, honey, that doesn't sound like you really putting the Mac down and the smack down in the bed town. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like you're doing all of that. So why is he continuing to have intercourse with you? Why are you continuing to travel and live in different places as this man that you're claiming that you don't want to be with? And I just really want us all to just take a look at ourselves, honestly. I just want us to take a look at ourselves, really. Somebody saying she was 20 at the time. That wasn't 20. That wasn't 20. We're talking about 7 years ago when she was 25, right? 7, 8 years ago when she was 25, right? And so now that we look back and if we've gone through the healing, we can really say what it is that it was, right?
Committed relationships. So I was just on the rotation at the time.
Oh,
And I ended up
okay. So she admits it. She admits that she was a part of the rotation. This is what I'm saying. And so when we start talking about self-love and the situations that we enter into, we have to look and see, why is this good enough for us, right? Why is this little piece of him good enough? Why is me abusing myself, practicing self-abuse in this way? Why is that good enough? Right? I've had to ask myself these questions. I've had to see a situation through to come onto the other side of it and really, really, really blossom in self-love, really do the internal work to figure out what is the programming? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? Because we all have been programmed from childhood, and in our relationships, there are things that we do to work out, to get onto the other side of traumas that we've had with our parents. So if a parent has not shown up, you may find yourself in relationships with people who are distant and detached because you're hoping in that relationship finally you'll find resolution. But no matter how you get resolution in this relationship, even if you convince this person to love you vociferously and show up for you, the pain that exists from that parental abandonment or that parental detachment cannot be healed through another person. That healing can only happen inside of you when you do the internal work. There's no other relationship that is going to substitute that foundational relationship that had deficits in it. So let me just rewind a little bit so that we can just hear that again, because, I called it. It sounded like she was a part of the rotation. And it sounds like she's, attempting to grasp onto some semblance of self-power now. But I can imagine that this was a very disempowering situation for her, where she's followed this man to this state where they were supposed to be together, and she ends up in this rotation where she's pretending as if this really doesn't bother her, when we know from past experience that she will orchestrate situations in which he will see or come into contact with her and perhaps try to feel bad for what it is that he's done. Let me tell you, there's no amount of pain and suffering that you can put yourself through that will make somebody else feel like really, really, truly, truly, truly feel the pain that you are in. They can't, because it's your pain. It's your interpretation. Like, they can feel guilt or shame or any of those things, but they cannot feel the pain that you feel. There's so many people out there who are hurting themselves, slapping themselves up, cutting themselves, abusing themselves with food, driving fast, using illegal substances and stuff like that, hoping to hurt somebody else, hoping to hurt your parent, hoping to hurt a past lover, hoping to hurt somebody. But at the end of the day, this is your body. This is your life that you are creating through these actions. And if you want a different life, you have to make a different choice. That's what I'm going to say on that.
I dealt with it already, so I could laugh about it
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
And it's
that's
funny,
what
but
healing
it's
look like.
like,
Healing,
right?
you look back at your old self and
But
laugh.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, seriously. It was, I'm coming over at this time. I know such and such is going to be rolling through about, an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
And sometimes we went a little bit longer. So literally passing each other on the stairs, like out the door. All right, have fun, your shift.
Oh, shoot. I don't think she's talking about work. I don't think she's talking about work. I think she's talking about intercourse. I think she's talking about having intercourse with a person, having intercourse with Derrick Street Meat Jaxn, and another woman on her way coming up the stairs as she's walking down the stairs, passing the woman. I can't imagine what level of self-hate would need to exist for a person to participate in activities like that. Let's rewind that again, because I thought she was talking about a work shift. I think she's talking about a bedroom romantic, quote unquote, shift.
I dealt with it already, so I could laugh about.
Wait, what?
Now, and it's
that's
funny,
what
but
healing
it's
look like.
like,
Healing,
right?
you look back at your old self and
But
laugh.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, seriously. It was, I'm coming over at this time. I know such and such is going to be rolling through about, an hour and a half later.
Yeah, I'm coming over at this time. I know that another woman is going to be rolling through 90 minutes later. And sometimes our session would go longer. Look, this is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And sometimes we went a little bit longer. So literally passing each other on the stairs, like out the door. All right, have fun, your shift.
This guy is like, I just take a look at him and his laughter.
You know,
We're talking about a woman who was self-abusing through a relationship, and this guy is cracking the F up. Oh my goodness.
and literally, and so there was a lot of people involved at that time. We weren't in a relationship, so all the people that like committed relationships, so I was just on the rotation at the time, and I ended up getting pregnant with our first child. And it was in that I was like, okay, Danaya, you got to figure out what you're doing with your life. You are whole pregnant, and you can't get rid of this child, because I had already had 3 abortions before, and the Lord had already dealt with me. And I was like, Lord.
Yo, I feel sick to my stomach. 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 All of this time that Derrick Jaxn was out here preaching to women about knowing their worth. He was entering this woman unprotected on a freaking rotation and aborting his unborn kids. All the while that Derrick Jaxn was out here talking to you about knowing your worth, he was running through women, aborting his unborn children. Yo, this man is sick. Look, I don't want to call people names and all of that, but this is sick. While he was sitting up here in everybody's face with his tight ass shirts and his big old innocent looking face, I never really resonated with his face or his damn tight ass shirts. None of that shit. I never resonated with Jaxn. My spirit Nateki, right? But all the while that he was sitting up here telling you how to know your worth, he was running through women behind the scenes. Wow. Wow. You know what? As a matter of fact, let's take a look at these apples. Let's take a little quick break and let's take a look at the apples. You know what? If you want to send an apple through, it's just like the name on the screen, Tonya TKO, TONYATKO. It's $ Tonya TKO. And so you can you can send your apple through that way. I'll read it in just a moment. I'm going to yeah, so, and she wasn't the only person. This is what I'm saying. There were other women, according to another vlogger who said that she was pregnant with his child as well, another woman. So if he's not using protection with a woman like her that he claims he doesn't want to be with, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is something else. Let me refresh. Let me put this here. So I don't even know what to say. This whole thing is just startling to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to the Cash App here in the description again. So it's HTTPS, it's $ Tonya TKO, copy, and then put this here, paste, And then I'm going to play the commercial. Then we're going to come back. I'm also going to put the link in for the coaching group that we're going to go through. But yeah, let's jump into a quick commercial break for the text notification squad. Are you tired of missing Tonya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TonyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today for just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance. $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance. You'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TonyaTKO.com/text. All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So right now we are in the process of doing a watch party on this. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, Danaya Jackson breaks her silence on this whole boondoggle of a situation that she was in with Derrick Jaxn, the defamed, embattled relationship guru who was living a public lie, allegedly, and living a whole different story behind the scenes. Wow. I don't even know what to say. So I'm going to check the apples in just a moment, but it looks like people are so enwrapped with the video that that you all have not taken the time to send the apple through, support the broadcast. If you're enjoying the broadcast, support the broadcast. I am your host, Tonya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com, and this video right here speaks of many self-love lessons that we need to talk about and go over with ourselves, just on Mere GP. Let me get the link right here. Let me get the link for the coaching group. Let me grab that. I'm going to put that inside the comments here. Let me put that there. Let me also put that inside the details of the video. If you want to find the link to the Cash App, okay, listen, here, let me put this link right here for you to take the survey. Let me just type SURVEY colon and then just control and put that there, space. All right, so here, this is the survey for the coaching. Let's see, COACHING coaching survey. All right, so I've updated, it's inside the description of this video. Let's talk about this. So listen. So we got another apple in. I'm going to give you all some time to get the apples in right now. So look, what should we do? What can I put up on the screen for you all to, let me see. Let's see. Somebody says, I live around a lot of Indian families and feel shame and embarrassed the way the family sticks together and loves and provides for wives and children. Well, we don't know what those women have to go through in order to, quote unquote, be provided for. We really don't know. Everybody's life is unique. Don't compare your life to anybody else's. There's 1,000 people on YouTube. There's 100 people on Facebook, and there's one person on Twitch. Hey, Twitchy. We're also broadcasting live on Twitter, and on any of these platforms, you can take a few moments out to support the broadcast by sending an apple through. So the apple, it's $ Tonya TKO. Here, $ TONYA TKO. And if each person sent through $1, that would more than support the broadcast. You know, $1 is, you know, especially when it comes to Black content creators. I was watching this. I was reading this article the other day, right? Where it was talking about that woman who's like, everybody's so creative. And she talks about, you know, the different food things that people are doing and how she's gone mega viral. But she hasn't seen the money from this. Because Black content creators, typically, we don't get the brand deals that other people who copy our stuff get, etc. So it's really up to us to support the broadcast that we resonate with, the content creators that we resonate with. So, let's see. Somebody is talking about how Derrick Jaxn lied and people were on the bandwagon. And you know what? There were a lot of women who were on the bandwagon. And the crazy part about it is that the messages that he was giving was real. He was talking about himself. He was the F-boy that he was talking about. He was talking about how he was doing women. He was talking about how he was doing his baby mama. And so this woman says that she had 3 abortions. She had 3 abortions while this man was here in public talking all this junk. Jules is saying she should write a book or something. You know what? I heard that she helped him write his books. So she may just be, well, didn't she start out by helping him with his homework? Listen, I don't even know what to say. This is a lot. Let me check the apples. Let's see. All right, perfect. Let's read these apples and then jump back into the video. This is a lot. All right. Okay. Let's take this and see. All right. So Shaisha sends $3 and says, sometimes it's hard to see when you're in it. And you know what? It is definitely hard to see sometimes when we're in it. But how do you feel? Is there something about, because each one of us is connected to universal source energy. Is the way that you're being done in a relationship, is the way that you are doing yourself and allowing yourself to be done in a relationship, is that resonating with you on the inside? Do you feel expanded or contracted from that behavior? So Cinnamon sends $20 and says, shaking my damn head. All I hear is love says, think her mom spoke to her about men. I mean, what does her mother know about men? If her mother had her first child at 18, or how old was she at? I think she said her parents were teenage parents. I think her father was 18. Her mother was, 16? I don't even remember. You all can remember from the beginning of this video. So what did her mother really know? You know, who knows what her mother knew, because people like to keep women out of relationships. They like to keep women from dating. They like to keep women inexperienced so that they don't know what to look for in a relationship, so that they don't know how their bodies work, etc. So yeah. Jennifer sends $2 and says, welcome back. Angela sends 222 and says, for channel support. LaShandra says, this is normal for most Black women today. Is the today in there, or let me see. Oh no, it says this is normal for most Black women. The today is the timing. Well, listen, I hear you. I don't know where you're getting the most from, but maybe is it a Black thing? Is this how women are done across the board? Is this rotation? I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'd love to pontificate that. Michelle sends $1 and says, it's been a while. It's been a while. The blonde is popping. Thank you. My hair has been golden for many, many, many years now. All right. So let's refresh and see. All right. Sheila sends 333 and says, she is speaking her truth and we're here to learn. Well, you know what? The only issue is that everybody's situation is going to be so different. So she's speaking her truth, But unless you really, really, really look at things in your own life, the overarching theme, unless you look at what you have done in your own life, then we don't learn. Because you ever had something happen to you and you be like, oh, if this ever happens again, I'm gonna do XYZ. But it never happens again. That was that unique situation. Her situation is unique, and your situation is unique for you. So you have to figure out, from hearing this story, what are the things that I can shift in my life? In what ways can I love myself better? That's why I continue to stop to have you answer these questions for yourselves here. And Cherie Amore sends $2 and says, when does she take accountability? And you know what? And I'd like to hear some more of her taking accountability for how she really ended up in this situation and the things she allowed to be done to her. I'm not really feeling a lot of self-empowerment from her, but you know, the interview is still young. The interview is still young. Give me one moment. All right. All right. So let us just jump back.
Or if you save me from this, I'm not going to ever do this again. Got pregnant. I was like, I can't go back on my word, Lord. I don't want you to kill me.
Yeah.
You know, but
so if she would have continued to have abortions, he would have just continued. So basically, she was like, you know what? I've already gone through 3 abortions. I'm not having another one. So if she would have continued to abort those babies or abort those fetuses, he would have continued to impregnate her and goodness knows how many others out there. I need to make sure that I'm sorry, when we broadcast live like this for a long time, the captions can get messed up. So I just need to make sure that the captions are refreshing and able to keep up with the broadcast. You know, for the people who are hearing impaired. So you're welcome. I appreciate being able to do something like this on a live broadcast, because live captions is a new technology that is still being developed. That's why some of the words don't really match up. But
I started, okay, I got to figure out what I'm doing with my life. And then I started getting a little bit more serious. Like, what are we doing? He was still doing, you know, stuff with other girls. I knew about it. So I did still participate in some sexual activity and all that, knowing that he was with other girls. I was a willing participant. But it did start to take a toll on me mentally and emotionally because I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a lot of women involved in that time. And it was in that time that I had a conversation with his mom. And I was like, listen, I don't have another 7 years to give him. I'm trying to figure this out. And like, I want to be with him. I want to do this, but I don't have another 7 years to give him. So he has to figure out what he wants to do. And then shortly after that, I'm getting a call from my mom, and she's like, I just got a call from Derrick asking me for your hand in marriage. I thought you were not in a relationship. I was like, we're not. You know, we're doing this co-parenting thing, you know. And she was like, okay, so what are you going to do? And so I actually knew about the engagement, which she didn't know about, but I actually knew about the engagement and all that because my mom told me about it. She was asking me these questions because she was like, I thought you weren't in a relationship. And I'm like, we're not, you know? And so I had to figure out, okay, he's being serious. He called my mom.
Did that make you excited? How'd you feel?
I was so excited because I'm like, he called my mom. My mom and him, like, they don't
mess with each other.
No. And so he humbled himself. He called my mom and asked for my hand in marriage. She's serious about me. It's meant to be. Absolutely. So excited. And so, yes, I was so excited about it.
To be.
Yes, he called my mom. You don't even know what that means, right? He called my mom. They don't even get along, first off, like that. So that meant a lot to me.
Why didn't they get along?
I left my phone in his car when I first met him, and he called her, and that conversation didn't go well. So ever since then, it's just been like a battle between them, and I've kind of been in the middle of it, and it created a lot of anxiety in the relationship. So I
Let me just give this FYI. If the people who know you and love you the most do not like your significant other, pay a fucking attention. That's all I can say. Let me say this again so that you can see me and know that I'm very serious as I'm saying this. If the people who love you the most and know you the best do not like your significant other, pay attention. There could be something that you don't see. Ask questions and really be open to their honest feedback. But it is a tremendous warning sign to me if the people who know you best and love you the most don't like the person that you're partnering up with. She's claiming that the mother didn't like him because she left her phone in the car and the conversation didn't go. Dear, you're your mother's child, and he's treating you like a human masturbatory sleeve, squirting in you and probably using your body as a human STD test, so that when you go to the doctor and if you're burning, then he's like, oh, well, now I guess I need to do something. But other than that, so listen.
actually isolated from my family a little bit and just kind of
Of course, because
doing my thing, being grown and being.
You hear that? She isolated from the family. She didn't want their criticism. She didn't want to hear what they had to say. So she separated herself so that she could love this man in peace, so that she could self-abuse through this relationship in peace. I'm sorry if I'm ad-libbing for her, but this is what it sounds like to me. And I've been very astute with being able to analyze situations. This is what makes me a great life coach. So for those of you who are looking to be in this summer's coaching program, the link is in the description for you to take the survey. I see since we've been on this broadcast, 4 people have taken the survey. 4 people. All right, let's continue forward, y'all. Let's continue. I want to get through this.
So ever since then, it's just been like a battle between them, and I've kind of been in the middle of it, and it created a lot of anxiety in the relationship. So I actually isolated from my family a little bit and just kind of was doing my thing, being grown and being involved with his family mostly.
And so you get a tip that he's going to propose. How did he propose?
All of our family was there. All his family was there. My mom and my brother flew in, and we had like a little housewarming party because we had just moved into a new house. And
so y'all got back together then. So after the tip off, how did he come back around and say, hey, can we be back together?
So my lease was up in my apartment, and so we were actually technically still off, but I didn't have anywhere. I'm like, if my lease is up, I'm not about to renew it, so I'm either going back to Denver or I'm coming to stay with you. I want you to be here for the baby's birth, and it was right around the time that she was going to be born, so we need to figure this out. So I ended up moving in basically with.
Let me tell you something about ultimatums. Let me tell you something about trying to force your way into a man's life through having these conversations with his family. You know, his family is on board with his efforts because they raised him. And that might be par for the course in their family. You know, ultimatums, trying to force your way into a commitment with a person. I mean, at the end of the day, how did this work out for her? They have 3 children from what it is that I'm hearing. 3 children, and now she's divorced. And she's tied to this man for the rest of her life. I'm going to discourage people from doing ultimatums. And I'm going to if it's not gelling, if it's not congealing, if it's not working out with people, with both parties really truly consenting to want to show up and be there, right? I'm gonna advise against ultimatums. I'm gonna advise against manipulation. Oh, my lease is up and I'm pregnant. I'm going to go back to Denver. Going back to Denver could have been a thing that was done right after college or when you all were living in North Carolina before going to Atlanta. But going into this situation led to another chain of events. Going back to Denver is something that could have been probably possible. Now, listen, remember, this is her version of the story, right? This is her version of the story. So, how did it really happen? We don't know. We have heard her talk about how she can manipulate situations and manipulate the truth, etc., right? All right. So, she's pregnant. She said this was right around the time that the child was going to be born, right? And she's threatening to move. So she's like, "Look, I have this baby in my uterus. I'm going to take the baby across the country because my lease is up." So I that's what I'm getting. So in order to have or be a part of the child's life, she had to move in with him. And so now she's moved in with him and she's telling the mother, "Look, I ain't got another 7 years to waste and this, that, and the other." Look, I don't know. I don't think ultimatums are the way. So what is the way? What is the way? Let's see. Let's see. Well, you tell me in the comments, what is the way if ultimatums are not it?
With him in the house that he was in. And that's, we never really officially said like we're back together. It was just like implied we're back together, you know? So there's never a conversation like, yes, we're doing
We
this.
go together, circle yes or no.
It was just like we're
together.
We're together. And so that's how that happened. And then I got the call and I was like, okay, we're together, and we're rolling with that. And it felt great. I was all on board with it. I was excited. He called my mom.
You called your mama.
What?
Humility.
Right. And so that's
Or
how that happened.
manipulation.
And so
We don't know
all
what
of
that
our
was.
family came in and we were celebrating this housewarming because we just moved into this new house. So the plot was, oh, we're celebrating the housewarming, but everybody else knew, hey, engagement, but little I knew too. And so he had this song play, and it was like right before midnight, and it came on, and he gets down on one knee and he's like proposing to me, and I was like,
It was
Waterworks.
all this pain I went through.
yes,
It was
it's paying off.
Yeah, it's paying off.
Paying off.
You
You hear
know,
this?
weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
All
You
the
thought that was
joy.
your morning.
All the joy. Do
Yeah.
you know the bragging that I did? Mrs.
My man.
Mrs. Jackson, okay, Mrs. Jackson, okay, if you're nasty, that was my thought.
That's your thought
right?
process.
Listen, I got saved, you know.
Miss Jackson, if you nasty.
But yeah, the bragging that I did, right, and so it was great. Like it was like everything is coming. I'm having a family now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be married. I had our baby already. She was 2 months by the time that happened, and she had this little "Will you marry me?"
Are you talking about,
sign.
so when he proposed, you already had the child?
Yeah, I had our
It was 2
baby.
months.
She was 2 months old. He had her in this little "Will you marry me" bib. It was great. Like everything was involved, and it was great. I loved it, every aspect of it. And it's like, this is everything I wanted and been asking for and dreaming of my whole life. And just through this relationship, and I won out of all these women.
You about to say another word?
The Lord is bridling my tongue. I am. He is bridling my tongue. I won out of all these women, so here I am. You know, so it almost gave me like this false sense of confidence and accomplishment. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but you couldn't tell me that at the time. So.
And at the time, we put this in perspective, you're about what, 28,
Yeah.
27?
Yeah, I was like, right. I had just celebrated my 28th birthday.
Yeah. And so you're 28 years old. And then, so now, how long did it take from "Will you marry me" to "I do"?
It was right at a year. So we got married January 13th, 2018. And that was a long year before marriage.
Shut the front door. They got married 2008 effing teen. Yo, I remember 2018. I remember 2018 because 2016 I lived in my car. up until the end of 2016. So we went into 2017. I started going to hypnotherapy school. 2018, I was living in my trailer at the time. I remember Derrick Jaxn's videos, and I remember people were saying that he had a baby mama. I remember people were like, he has a baby mama. People tried to tell you all the truth. She was a baby mama. I guess they were engaged, but he was talking all this junk online while living a completely different life, endangering his family and her health and all of this stuff. This is crazy.
And there's a lot of stuff that went on in there. We tried some marital counseling. We did not finish that. There was,
You said premarital counseling or marriage?
Premarital counseling.
Y'all didn't finish our premarital counseling?
No.
Why not?
There was a lot of issues that arose. So as we were doing the counseling, I started to come out with a lot of the hurt that I was
Hi.
Listen, if you over there talking about the prophesy, if you were going to the prophesy, Papa, for your premarital,
Prophesy, Papa.
if you were going to your prophesy, Papa, for the premarital, no wonder that didn't work. No wonder. So she felt that she had won. This is what I'm saying. You don't find healing that way. You don't find healing that way.
Premarital counseling?
no.
Why not?
There was a lot of issues that arose. So as we were doing the counseling, I started to come out with a lot of the hurt that I was
Hiding.
From college days. I started to come out with that and how it made me feel. And it was a lot, I think, for him to handle all of that.
Like, oh my God, how you know all this stuff?
Right.
He's like,
How do you know? Right. How did you know? But then also like, why are you just now telling me
And
about
you still
this?
here?
Right.
Like, you know all that, you still.
Right. And so it was a lot for me to just like be like, and you did this and you did that. And I feel like I did do a lot of shame and blaming in communicating all the things that I had been holding on to. So it was a lot for him to handle in that time. But anyway, it was all of that. He was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So we never finished. And then, and then here we go in the marriage. So,
So you said, he said, I'm not going to finish marriage counseling, but we're going to continue going on with the wedding.
It was looking a little bleak at first, right? Because at that time went back to the gym and started working out. And then I had a male trainer. And so then at the time that we're going through premarital counseling, then it's like, oh, you're talking to your male trainer, and you're having a relationship with him. You're trying to hide it from me. And I'm like, I'm all these things. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to hide this from you. Like you see him, we go to the same gym. You can have a conversation with him. His wife is a trainer at the gym too. Maybe I should have asked for his wife to I didn't even choose the trainer, but basically it became an issue. And so then that became the focus as opposed like me having a male trainer and what I'm doing over here became the focus of the conversation.
And be clear, did you have anything inappropriate with the trainer?
I did not.
And did he ever say, well, you need to have a female trainer then?
He did not, but I took it upon myself. I went to the little desk and was like, hey, I need to change trainers. And then the trainer was like, did I do something wrong? Whatever. Can we have a conversation? I was like, there's nothing that you did wrong. It's just I got to do what I need to do. And I need a woman. And so then I got another trainer, Serena, and she got my whole life together after that. But yes, that became the focus. There was a lot of issues that came from that and pretty much triggered the toxic behavior in him, triggered the toxic behavior in him to where now we have all these things going on in our marriage. So
Such as
What? We know how cheaters often use your behavior as some sort of argument for the cheating that they're doing. You know what I mean? We know how they're deflecting. Look at you and that male trainer. So now she doesn't have this baby. She's trapped in this situation now. She thinks she's won. She's got this engagement going. And I guess judging from what it is that we know of her, we know that she has a propensity to set up situations for him to feel jealous or pain or shame or whatever.
As you said, triggered what? You said that trigger what to accuse you of infidelity to give him a pass to cheat on you?
Essentially. Like, so me bringing up all these things and then him feeling or accusing me of having this relationship with the trainer, which I did not have, but allowed him basically like, okay, I'm being like in his mind, I'm being disrespectful, I'm being unappreciative. He's done all this changing and actually asked for me to marry him, and here I go, just bringing up all this stuff from the past, And
would you say he was on his best behavior during that time?
Define best behavior. Okay. So if we're talking about yeah, so we have to define best behavior.
Okay, we're gonna define it as not messing with other women at this point.
Okay, we're gonna have to define that too. Okay, so listen, I'll put it this way. Were there women that he had still had contact with in some way that he's had a sexual relationship with or some sort? Those people were always there. He was always constantly having at least a minimum a dialogue with them.
Okay.
Like if they were friends.
And was it discussed that he would no longer have those conversations with people in whom he had sexual relationships with?
No, so that wasn't discussed until after I left the marriage for 8 months. That wasn't discussed until after that. So, but going into marriage, no, there was not really a dialogue about like, hey, all these people that you've had a relationship with or whatever in the past, like all of them need to cut out. You ain't no friends. There was not.
This is not funny. So they got married in 2018. She left the relationship for 8 months. When? Because this whole relationship blew up during the pandemic. So if they got married and they've had problems their whole marriage, this is what I'm saying. The marriage license does not change a person's behavior. As a matter of fact, for some people, it makes it worse.
There was no dialogue about that. I didn't have any boundaries
right.
or barriers.
I didn't even know what that was.
I didn't even know what a boundary was.
Exactly.
Like, what is that? I didn't have any standard or like, I didn't even know that was a thing that you can actually request or not even request, that you implement, you know? So
you knew he asked you about, he gave you grief about this trainer. You knew that.
Yeah, I had there was none of that. So was there people that he had at least at minimums a conversation with that he has had sex with or has some type of dealings with? Those people had always been there at minimum in conversation form. As far as having a sexual encounter, to my knowledge, there wasn't a whole lot going on. But then again, not too long after our marriage counseling, premarital counseling failed, he met up with
Don't be saying no names,
a relative.
Danaya.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was bridling. I was thinking.
Met up with Shaniqua Thomas.
Right.
And,
a relative and supposed to like a distant relative. It's like one their cousin married my dad, so that's my cousin type of thing situation. But like a relative, essentially claiming as a relative, they met up but this is somebody that he had a conversation or like sexual conversations with and things like that in the past.
Sexual conversations. They ain't had sex.
He says that they had never had sex. It didn't go past their sexual conversations and things like that, but they did meet up not too long after the marriage.
Kissing cousins? This what she's saying about street meat? He met up with one of his kissing cousins. Oh! This man knows no bounds. Oh!
Marital counseling.
The premarital
counseling that we had. So
you don't know what happened. If anything happened, they just met up to
right. So outside of that, I don't know. When something did happen, let's see, that was like a couple weeks before we got married. And I didn't even think we were going to get married because it was such a big blow up. And so he got his hair cut by a girl that he used to have sex with, and She posted a picture on Instagram with hearts. He was standing behind her, and there's hearts surrounding them, and I lost it on him. I lost it. I did not use any kind of biblical words at all. And I didn't even know biblical words at that time. So I lost it. And, at that point, it kind of triggered, like, he was like, you don't trust me. Like, you're supposed to be able to trust me. Like, I'm not even I needed my haircut because I'm trying to make a living for us. Like, this is important. There was nobody else available. And I'm like, you didn't even tell me about this. At minimum, you tell me that you have to get a haircut, and you didn't even do that. Not only did you not do that, you hid it from me. You sent the haircut appointment confirmation to the work email, and I'm running your emails. What kind of... Right. And so it was at that point where I blew up, where I was like, okay, I need to get help. I got to figure out myself. And I actually got therapy. I got 3 therapists.
You got 3?
3.
Why you need 3?
I needed all 3. All 3 of them. I got
one of them miss something, the other one pick it up,
exactly.
and that miss something.
Yes. And I did that for about 3 months until I settled on one. And then I was with her for about 1.5 years. Yes.
So you said this was a couple of weeks before y'all said I do?
Yes.
And then after you got over that, y'all just decided to go ahead and get married at the same time. Y'all didn't change the date 2 weeks later.
Yeah, no, we did not change the date. We still got married 3 weeks later. We did it. I was pregnant actually with our son. Nobody really knew I was pregnant because I wasn't really showing that much. And I didn't tell a whole lot of people
So
I
you're
was
pregnant with the second child?
Yes, our son. And so, yeah.
And so now you get pregnant. It's a trip. You're getting pregnant in trauma. It's like the first time you got pregnant, you're passing women down the stairwell or passing them as you leave. Y'all making y'all D appointments,
Yeah,
and
right.
so then you end up
8
getting
o'clock.
pregnant. You said 8 o'clock. That was your standing appointment. 8 o'clock. On what day was it?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Listen, before that her song came out about, only on the weekend, listen, that was already going on.
That was already going on.
This man has a sickness. If he's having intercourse with her at 8 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and he's still got to get a person in there afterwards, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and what's going on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And she says she went to therapy. I'm not hearing about the therapy that he's going through, because apparently there's some things that are going on that ain't right. My goodness. Let me check the apples. Let me give you all a moment to get the apples in. The link is in the description. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break for the text notification squad, which lasts about in a minute and 15 seconds. So in that time, you can go ahead and get your apples through. Oh my goodness, this is a lot. Oh. Are you tired of missing Tonya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TonyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance, $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance, you'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TonyaTKO.com/text. All right, welcome back. If you're just getting here, I'm your host, Tonya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. Oh my goodness, we are watching the Derrick Jaxn interview right now, where we're having a watch party, where she's going through piece by piece, this whole relationship from her point of view, right? And so, look, support the broadcast. There's over 1,000 people on YouTube. There's 130 on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn as well as Twitter and on Twitch. Let's see if we got our one Twitchy. Yeah, we got our one Twitchy over there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Oh, my goodness. So I'm gonna read the apples in a moment. I want to get 3 more apples in before I read them. So it's $ Tanya TKO, just like my name at the bottom of this screen right here. $ Tanya TKO. It is a verified account so that you know you're sending it to the right place. What else? Let's see. There's a lot going on. I just needed to take a quick break so that we can discuss. What are some of your thoughts about everything that is going on? What are the self-love lessons that you are learning? Okay, so one person just sent through. So Vic is saying she won. Yeah, what is it that she won? At the end of the day, I think sometimes we get so caught up in winning that we forget what is it that we're going to win. Like sometimes, like let's say there's a person who is saying that they're not as attracted to us as they could be. They can't be as faithful as they want to be. They don't have as much money as they would like, or they're spending their money on other people, or they're gambling their money, or they have all of these different vices gripping them, right? You endure all of this stuff in order to get to the quote unquote finish line, to marriage or whatnot, to win. But at the end of the day, what is it that you've won? I remember I was trying to win the heart of this workaholic one year. This was long ago. I was trying to win the heart of this workaholic. And in trying to win his heart, I learned and discovered some things about him that I just kind of pushed into the background of my mind because I was really concentrating on winning this thing that I thought that I wanted. But there's another one that's come through. So just I'm waiting for one more apple, and then I will go ahead and read the apples. Exquisite is saying she won 3 kids. Like this interviewer says, that her children were conceived in trauma. So now she's won a situation where now she has become impregnated in trauma. Because if she so she was, by the time they got married a year later, she was already pregnant with their second child, right? The first child was 2 months old when he proposed. And then a year later, so we're talking about, so now she has virtually a 1 year old, and she's pregnant again with another child conceived in all of this back and forth trauma. So remember, this isn't about her. This is about us figuring out what are the areas of our lives that we can take any semblance of a self-love lesson from this situation into. How do we, right? All right. Somebody's saying she won her peace back dropping we don't really know. Peace doesn't come just by participating in an action that means something to somebody else. Peace is internal, and there are things that you have to do internally to get your peace, right? Somebody's saying y'all show more compassion to BMs who've done absolutely nothing to provide your community with resources, leadership, blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh my goodness. And somebody is saying, Arnold is saying, that's okay. He seems like he was just too committed to work, not with multiple women. It's not the point. An unavailable person is an unavailable person, whether they're unavailable because they're having intercourse with other people, whether they're unavailable because they're working, whether they're unavailable because they're traveling, whether they're unavailable because they won't do the internal work. Unavailability is unavailability, and a person who is unavailable to be open, present, and what's the word? Open, present, and show up for your relationship. That is not a healthy union. Whether it's workaholism or a person is too involved in the church or this, that, and the other, a healthy relationship is one in which both of you meet on common ground and agree to show up for the relationship and one another and make yourselves open and available to being there with and for your partner and vice versa, holding space for your partner, being present with your partner, doing what you can and shifting things that you can do that is for the betterment of the relationship, creating ways that you can create yourself better for the relationship. So no, unavailable is unavailable. Let me check and see. I'm just waiting for one more apple. And Gypsy is saying compassion. Could have sworn we were dragging him through this live. I think, listen, oh God. Miss is saying that man fooled millions of women, so I can see how she would fall for his manipulation. Did he fool millions of women? What did he fool them with? He did not use himself as an example, did he? I think he did lie. Yes, he did lie. He called himself a stretch mark lover and all this other stuff that he was saying about himself. This man was a liar. That he was a full liar. Okay. We got the additional Cash App in. So let me go ahead and read these apples. Let's do this. All right. So we have, let's see. So Kenneth sends $1. Thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate that. Tamika sends $5 and says for support. Joanna says for support and love. Nicole says, be ready to remove yourself from toxic treatment. Yes, absolutely. I feel you on that. People must be ready to remove themselves from toxic treatment. But you know what the thing is, that there has to be a certain type of thing that happens to us that reveals that there's an area that's lacking in self-love. Otherwise, we think that, there's a song that goes, what you won't do for love. You try anything, but you won't give up. Because in my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. And so when we get into these relationships that are very, personal to our hearts and very painful in some ways, we learn what it is that we won't do for love and what we will do but not give up. And so there's sometimes that these relationships just really reveal to us where the holes in our self-love exist. And it's up to us to really pay attention and do those things, right? Anita sends $5 and says, I can't believe in this struggle love. Well, I'm going to tell you this, Anita. Part of the reason that you can't believe in the struggle love, and tell me if I'm wrong, is because you have been through a situation in which love has had its struggles. And so therefore you have learned on the other side. I really want to hear from you all, because this is all about us learning. And it's not about us telling other people what struggle love they're in. What about the struggle love that you have been in, or the struggle love that your mother has been in, that you saw her participating in, that something shifted for you on the inside? But then if struggle love is not your thing, there's something else that is your thing, whether that is any number of things. It could be abuse, it could be emotional, mental, financial, it could be unavailable, it could be too clingy, it could be anything. It may not be struggle love, but it's something. All of us have something in this life. I'm telling you that much. All right. Jackie or Jackie sends for star, green heart, and popcorn. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Ashley sends $5. Paulina sends $5 for support and says, we all have to fix things. Absolutely. It's like while we're so busy looking at other people's relationships and what they look like, that we don't really see what's going on in our relationships. I have learned that even with the best of connections, even with the best of men seeming, at the end of the day, they're still human. Even with the best of women, at the end of the day, she's still human. And as we are going through this journey, there are things that we're going to all need to shift and change. Our partners, our sisters, our parents, our friends. So Renee sends $3.69 and says, the partner we choose is a reflection of ourselves. Absolutely. And what you think is okay in partnership reflects things back to you. JJ sends $5 and says, whole interview is weird. Them laughing weird. Well, you know what? Listen, everybody laughs for a different reason. So sometimes people laugh to stop from crying. So you never really know. We never really know. And someone says we're always judging. Well, yeah, we can always be quote unquote judging. But at the end of the day, what are the things that we are going to do internally? What are the things that we're going to do to create the shifts that we need for our lives? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? All right, so let's get back to this interview. Ooh, all right.
I had to renounce that. By the way, that is not okay behavior. I do not endorse that behavior. I'm just testifying.
You're testifying right now. And so you had your stand.
So
that behavior. I'm just.
Let's see. I don't
You
remember
ended
what
up getting pregnant. You said 8 o'clock. That was your standing appointment. 8 o'clock. On what day was it?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You know, listen. Before that, her song came out about only on the weekend. Listen, that was already going on.
That was already going on in your life.
I had to renounce that. By the way, that is not okay behavior. I do not endorse that behavior. I'm just testifying.
You're testifying right now. And so you had your standing appointment, and then you end up getting pregnant, and then I don't know what motivated him, but he will have to tell that story of what made him decide, well, let me marry her.
Yeah, I'm not sure what really prompted him.
Was his family that told him that? Did he always promise himself that he'll never have a kid out of wedlock? I don't know what his journey is.
Well, I don't know like all of his story, but from just some conversations that we had, it was like when we were in college, I always said that I would leave and go back to Denver if like certain situations happen. I'm leaving, I'm taking the baby with me, and I think that scared him. So I think it was like, okay.
Didn't Tonya call it? Didn't I call it? Oh my gosh, I'm so intuitive, y'all. Didn't I call it? Didn't I just say that she threatened to take the baby away, that she threatened to move cross country with the baby? Didn't I say that? I called it. I did.
He's living his best life, and I'm sitting up here allowing it, right? Because I'm a willing participant, and so he's almost in fear that I'm going to leave, because now I've sat down and had a conversation with his mom, and I'm like, I don't have 7 years, additional years to give him. I'm tired of doing this life.
And his mama told him too, say, baby.
Right. And and I believe she did, because he brought that up to me like, man, you told my mom this. And I'm like, okay, your mom clearly told you that. So cool. So clearly there was a conversation, but I don't know that necessarily that motivated him per se. But I think it was a combination of like his mom told him what I said, and then whatever I said in college, where I'm like, I will leave you or whoever I'm with, I will leave and take this baby with me and go back to Colorado, have my mama and my people out there help me raise this child.
What about protection, dear? You talking about if you get pregnant, you're going to leave and go to Colorado. How about prophylactics? How about some sort of form of birth control? How about something? I mean, this sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're participating in actions that can create pregnancy, but not participating in. It's like, and then you're just prophesizing. Hey, let me go ahead.
Prophesy, Papa.
I mean,
child we've been doing it, you know,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
mentality.
yeah.
And he was like, I can't absolutely, he can't have that. He wants to be involved and all that. So I think all of those at least played a factor into it.
So now you're pregnant. People don't know it. You're walking down the aisle. Y'all just dealt with some stuff 3 weeks prior. You have reason to believe that this other woman that you already know he messed around with, she's posting stuff for the world to see on Instagram, hearts around it. He behind her, they taking his picture. He tried to hide the actual haircut appointment. And so you already suspect about that. You get married that day. Was that a day of wedded bliss? Were you happy that you try to put everything behind the veil and said, I'm going to put all the past behind us. We're going to start afresh. We're going to start anew. And
Oh my goodness, this is too much. I guess they're going to start talking about the infidelity now. Somebody is asking for the PayPal link. So here, I'll put this here. The only thing is that PayPal is not connected for me to read live on air. And if you just want to support, it is paypal.me hold on, /Tonya TKO. Tonya TKO. So there, I put that in the chat area for those of you who would like to support that way. All right, let's continue. They're about to get into the infidelities now and the sheer vast numbers. Let's go forward.
I am now Mrs. Jackson. Call me Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Yes. All of the above. No, I was so excited to be getting married. And again, my mentality at that time is where like, I'm getting married. Everything is like my dream wedding.
And I won.
I won.
Out of all of y'all.
And so everything is falling into place. The only agitation I had was because I was pregnant and I was hungry. And you know, the wedding timeline sometimes, you be hungry. And I'm like, I'm pregnant. I'm actually 6 months pregnant at this point.
You were 6 months?
6. And nobody could really tell. Like people were like, are she pregnant or is she not pregnant? Like that's how
You
it
were
was.
6 months.
6 months. So I wasn't necessarily showing as much as I could have.
So her baby was 1 year and 2 months when she got married, and she was already 6 months pregnant.
After that, though, I was like, people were like, what happened?
You got your honeymoon, boy.
Right.
Y'all was lit.
Right.
I don't know what y'all did on y'all honeymoon.
Right. And so that day, though, it was great. Like, it was like everything was coming into place. The outside of course, like I said, being hungry, and then with a little bit of agitation because he had already been pre-gaming with like, you know, having a couple of drinks with his friends, you know, the best man. So I was upset first off because I can't drink and I could taste the alcohol in your breath. You
may now kiss the bride. You like, God, it tastes like Jack Daniels.
Right, exactly. I was like, that's the first thing I said. I was like, you been drinking, you know? And you know,
So this man had to get himself into a drunken stupor to walk down the damn aisle.
Pregnant women, they like have a sensitivity to every like smell and taste. And like, is that, what year is that? You know? And so,
Oh God.
but no, it was great. It was everything that I could have dreamed of in that moment.
So after that, was everything going great for a period of time? Was there a period of time of wedded bliss? Don't say define what wedded bliss is.
Okay, no, we're not gonna do that then. So, wedded bliss.
Was it happy? Was it like, oh, he stopped? He ain't. I'm not threatened by other women that he's bringing into the relationship.
No.
We're good. He's thriving. He's doing these car videos, and he's thriving, inspiring millions of women across the world. And he's treating me the same way as what he's telling other women to accept treatment as. He's honoring me as his queen. I'm his wife, and he's treating me accordingly.
Okay, so no. No, it was not. And I wish it had been. But so after that, we went on our honeymoon. That was great. Even at the honeymoon, it was like he was on his phone a lot.
Of course.
And so, I felt some type of way about that. But I whatever.
Oh my God, what a freaking nightmare. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. On the honeymoon. This is what I'm saying. Who they are before the wedding does not improve with the wedding. You're still marrying a person. You are marrying a human being. Imagine being on your honeymoon and your partner, your newlyweds, and your partner is spending so much time on the phone that you notice. Oh my God. Oh my God. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Oh my God.
You know, he has to worry because, you know, look at the life I'm living, you know, like I got caught up in like, oh, I never experienced anything like this before.
So here,
You know, look at the. Okay. So no, no, it was not. And I wish it had been. But so after that, we went on our honeymoon. That was great. Even at the honeymoon, it was like he was on his phone a lot. And so, you know, I felt some type of way about that, but I like, you know, whatever, you know, he has to worry because, you know, look at the life I'm living, you know, like I got caught up in like, oh, I never experienced anything like this before.
Explain what that, because people don't understand what you mean by that life. What life were you living?
Okay, so there is a life of glam and riches and fame. Like when you have some status, it comes with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with access to stuff. It comes with like this extra treatment. It comes with money. You know, I had not experienced any type of level of that. And I'm like, I've been all them Disney movies are paying off. I'm living the life of the rich and famous. Look at him. He's fine and he's doing this and I get to stay at home and like I was a whole Atlanta housewife without being on the show. Right? Whole out here. And so
Whole Atlanta housewife. With no show.
No show. Behind the scenes. Right? No status,
And
right?
so you were running the business though, right? You were doing the back end stuff?
Yes, behind the scenes. I was doing the customer service. I was hiring people for his team, adding people on there. All of that. I had to get some help. I hired a couple of people to like help take some things off of my plate because there was so much. He was growing so fast with all the different aspects of it of his business. But no, it wasn't just marital bliss. There was a lot of women that he was still at minimum having conversation with.
I just want you all to just pay attention because she's revealing it all right there. The status, the money, the life, the lifestyle, the access, the riches, all of this stuff, the things that she endured that came along with the cheating, right? And she's talking about doing the customer service for a business that this man has built on a damn lie. This man built a business on a damn lie, talking all this shit publicly, talking all this crap, this junk, this malarkey publicly, while living a different story behind the scenes. And she assisted him in this. Listen, she assisted him in this.
And that I caught him with, and I was just like, this cannot happen.
When you say caught him, you caught him having a conversation?
Yes, like he's literally texting them while we're in the bed. And I'm like, why is this name in there? Why are you still talking to her? I thought I had told you how I felt about this, and this is where I had still in a toxic way, but I had started being a little bit more vocal on the toxic side of saying, hey, this is not okay. You know, essentially I was expressing at the root of it, this is not okay. And I feel some type of way about it, but it wasn't in a healthy way. I could have done it a lot better.
Ooh, somebody is saying, please keep in mind that she was young at the time of the marriage. They're both the same age. So then we can keep it in mind that they were both young at the time of the marriage. We can keep it in mind that the things that he did because of age as well, right? He was a liar. He was a liar. And she helped him tell this lie. 25, 26, whatever. She continued to help him tell this lie until when? It was another vlogger who had to break the story that this man was a freaking liar. If she could have still gotten the money, listen, if she could have still gotten the money and kept the riches and kept this boondoggle of a relationship without the vlogger breaking the story, do you think that we would be here right now? She would still continue to be in the background drinking milks of magnesias and Pepto-Bismols to deal with the ulceratic pains going on in her belly from swallowing and choking down all of the acrid feelings from this damn boondoggle of a relationship that she had her man unleashed out here onto the public. As she behind the scenes supported his business, she hired people to get paid and covered up this damn lie that this man was living. Come on. Come on. All right. Their age plays a factor in all of this, yes. But the truth is still the truth. This is the truth of the matter. That she felt that she had won. That she had got over on all of these other women who didn't get the ring. Because for so many of us, right? For so many of us, the marriage is thrown in our face as what's important. Can you keep a man? That's what's important. But they don't give a damn about the caliber of the mother effer they asking you to keep. Grandpa had a family up the doggone road. Grandpa wasn't married to grandma. Grandma was the side chick. But people would still have blamed her for what type of man she could or could not keep. Not what type. The fact that she couldn't keep a man. You can't keep no man. Girdle or whatever. Myrtle? Whatever whatever people call people back in these days. Girdle. What is a Gertrude? There's a name. You can't keep no man, Gertrude. Come on.
Than what I did. But there was that, and then with that it was like, you're insecure, you know, I have to do business, these are business people, I built these relationships. I'm like, well, nobody told you to mix business and pleasure. So if you have business with them, that means, guess what, you need to cut all business ties. This is not a relationship that you can have, right? And so that caused a lot of just friction, and it became, you know, I'm insecure, I'm unhealed, you know, people change, but I need to figure out my own stuff, which, I mean, those things are true. I was insecure. I did need to figure out some things like within myself to be more secure, and at least to come to him assertively and be able to communicate in a more healthy manner. But it's still.
Of course you were insecure. You were, no, listen, Danaya, baby girl, of course you were insecure. Your man did not do the things that he needed to do in that relationship to make you feel secure. You were insecure because you were with a thought bot. Your man, or thought pocket, whatever the hell he didn't do the things that he needed to do to make you feel secure. He's texting people on your honeymoon after he had already given his penis, this damn used up penis, giving it away hither and thither, and not doing the things that he needed to do as your man to make sure that you were secure. By what? Being open, transparent, upfront, by having respect for your union, by respecting your feelings, your relation. Listen, it's not like he didn't know the idea of it, because his ass was on the internet preaching it, wasn't he? His ass was on the internet preaching about how to treat a woman, wasn't he? So it's not like he had no concept of it. He built a from what it is that I'm hearing, multi-million-dollar business on the concept of men doing things that he wasn't even doing for his wife. And you sat there, girl, you sat there behind the scenes and provided a way for him to be able to make more money selling these effing lies as your stomach shriveled up on the inside, as your intestines burst with holes in it from the anxiety. You sat there. Yes, of course you were insecure. You had good damn reason to be insecure. And I can only hope that anybody out there who is feeling insecure in their relationship, that you take the time to figure out whether or not your insecurity is justified. And if your insecurity is justified, you need to figure out what are the things that you are willing and going to do to make sure that your union is secure. How do you continue to open yourself to a person who does not keep the sex and sexuality as a sacred part of your relationship, that he is taking his sacred marital phallus and jamming it in to other women out there, and then laying up in your marital bed, texting these women who have carnal knowledge of your man? Of course you were insecure. Of course. How could anybody be secure in a relationship where their partner is gallivanting and you're catching them in lie after lie after lie, and they, judging from the damn numbers and dates of it, it sounds as if this man may have some sort of damn sex addiction. That you have to have 2 and 3 women in a night, 5 to 7 days a damn week? What the fuck? This man sounds like he need help. That he's sitting outside, allegedly outside people's workplace, masturbating in the damn car, and she's at work out there in the parking lot because he just can't get damn satisfied. It sounds like he has a problem. Sounds like he needs help. That the woman at work, he's calling her over and over and over again. Guess what I'm doing right now? I'm outside your job. I mean, what the hell? Who could be secure in a situation like this? Who? Oh my goodness.
Still did not pacify or negate the fact that these conversations in these relationships should not be existing. So there was both of those dynamics happening at the same time, and I didn't have the words or the tools to be able to really navigate that the best way that I could have.
So to be clear, at this point, what year are we talking about? Year 1 or 2?
This is the first.
So the
couple
first year,
months, the first year,
first
of
couple of months, first couple of months, you hadn't caught him. No more videos in his phone, sleeping with nobody. Nobody sending you videos and pictures that he had been cheating on you. Just inappropriate conversations.
Inappropriate conversations at this point. A lot of them. And so, I mean, there were so many to where I'm coming off of just having a baby, right? Or having our second child. I had severe postpartum actually with both children. So just think of all the trauma that we're unpacking already that never really dealt with. Severe postpartum where I was on medication for like 8-9 months on medication, and going to the medical therapy that I had to go through just for being on postpartum depression. So all of this stuff is happening, and it was in that time where apparently more of the conversations and transformed into more than conversations. And I didn't find out about it though until, months later. But that is around the time where those conversations became more than conversations again, and started to be physical things.
So there she is. There she is, vagina busted wide open from having his child, laying up there trying to emotionally recuperate. He has this multi-million-dollar business where he's out here making these videos from his car, doing his books and board games and all this other, his speaking engagements, and people are paying him to hear about how a man can be or should be. Meanwhile, his wife is on medication and in therapy, which means that she says that this was mandated therapy, which means she may have taken an attempt. She may have had ideations of taking an attempt or actually having taken an attempt. Because when you get put into forced, that like if it's not voluntary, if it's involuntary therapy, something happened. Somebody else was involved. So here is this man driving this woman into the brink of the loss of her doggone any number of things, right? Selling this damn lie, wolf tickets and snake oil online, while his woman is shriveling at home. Reprehensible. Reprehensible. We're going to check the Cash Apps in another moment. We're going to check the Cash Apps in a moment. Let me, it's 15 after the hour right now. Oh, we've been on for quite some time. Let me try to get through these last 10 minutes right here. We're going to do another 5 minutes, and then we are going to read the Cash Apps. It is just like the name on the screen, $ TONYATKO. It's a verified account, so you know you're sending it to the right place. Right now, there's over 1,000 people on YouTube. There's 120 on Facebook. Let me check my Twitch. We got 2 people on Twitch and Twitchies. We done doubled our numbers on Twitch. And we have LinkedIn as well as Twitter. So we are live on all of these platforms. If every person just sent $1, that would more than support the broadcast. If every other person sent $1, that would more than support the broadcast. So the link to support is in the description of this video. I can tell I'm going to have to create a break so that people don't get so engaged in the video that they do have time to jump over and are able to contribute. I don't do super apples or no, I don't do, what do you call this, super chat? I don't do super chats because YouTube takes 45% of the super chat. So I know that you all want the content creators to get your stuff, and I'm letting you all know about a secret that YouTube doesn't want you to know. So I don't do super chats for that reason. And I encourage each one of you out there that even if your favorite content creator is taking super chats, that if you want them to get the bulk of the super chat that you're sending, that you send it via another way, that you support them on Patreon. I personally don't have a Patreon because Patreon also takes their cut, but some people like Patreon and what they're doing. I personally decided not to go that route, but I encourage you to find ways off of these platforms to be able to support your content creator. I'm just letting you know, FYI, because there's a lot of content creators that still do use super chats, and a lot of people kind of feel manipulated into using it because most people just, they're in the platform, they're already there, so they just do what it is, and it takes additional steps. But those additional steps, like if you send $100 to a content creator and they get 55 of it and YouTube gets $45 of it, do you want YouTube to get $45 of your $100 super chat? No. So make sure that you do. Yes, exactly. Make sure that you support in the ways that, especially if you're dealing with Black content creators and especially if you're dealing with Black female content creators, because we are at the lower end of, like, I saw something that came across my Instagram feed yesterday. This girl who won American Idol a few years ago, she's back to singing in the subway, Black woman. And it's because, as Black women, we really have to advocate for ourselves. We have to get into these upper positions to be able to support one another. Right. And so we really do have to show up for each other. So yeah, so there's that. So let me refresh and see what we have here. All right. So it is a huge cut, but YouTube is $1 billion business, and they feel justified in charging that. So let me accept this. Someone sent me $5 in Nvidia stock. I'm going to read that in just a moment. I just wanted to go ahead and get that in. So we'll jump into the, no, it wasn't. It was a girl who used to sing in the subways. I don't know her name because I didn't watch the series, but I read about it. And it was just talking about the lack of brand deals, the lack of support that Black women get in media and in industry. You know what I mean? So there's, like I said, there's over 1,000 people on YouTube right now. There's 120. There's still 120 on Facebook. Let me see what we're doing on Twitch. We still got our 2 Twitchies. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So we're still in like Flynn. Right. So yeah, so if every person just sent $1, like if $1 is not that big of a deal to you, and and if you are, struggling or suffering financially or whatnot, and $1 is a big deal to you, then share the broadcast, make a comment, share it onto your timeline on social media, share it in a WhatsApp group, especially with a long video like this. It's not going to get that many views from the platforms, because the platforms have a push for shorter and shorter content. So let's continue going forward. I'm going to start reading the apples, which will give you a time that while I'm reading them for you also to get them in. So let's continue going forward. I want to hear some of the music. Let's go. Hey. Hey. All right. So Felicia sends $7 and says, don't accept anything to say you have something. Yeah. And you know what? And that's what a lot of people do that. They think, what are people going to say about me if our relationship breaks up? What are people going to say about me if the wedding is canceled? What are people going to say about me if I have a child and, and I never got married? What are people going to say about me? But then what is your life going to be like if you enter into a really, really bad situation that you know is really, really bad from the start? Nicola says, I'm dying, ha ha ha. 504 sends $2 and says, women are still following him to prove themselves. Well, listen, the information he's giving apparently is true ass information. It ain't true about him, and I don't understand why people are helping him gain money and fame and riches from all of this. But listen, we all fall down. But listen, has he really truly created any real true change in himself? Erin sends 222 and says, first time, keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Erin. Thank you. And where's the NVIDIA? Oh, here's the NVIDIA stock right here. So Bevy sent $5 in NVIDIA stock. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we got some more apples that have come in. Let me make sure that I keep all right, here. So let me read these real quick. Candace sends $3 and says, keep doing what you're doing. Love. Netia sends $5 and says, for donation. Angela sends $1. Estonia sends $1 and says, low self-esteem, selling her soul. You know what? And listen, what is the difference between Danaya and anybody else? Besides, she's in the public and people are getting to see, what it is that she has gone through publicly. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is how it is. This is the story of many people. Nobody's relationship is perfect. Everybody has some shit. Your parents had some shit in their relationship. You got some shit in yours. There's some things that many of us are not being honest about, which exist behind the scenes in our relationship, because our relationships stretch us and they make us grow. So don't be too hard on her. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is life. Life be lifing. So, yeah.
So we're going to stop right now, and we're going to come back. We're going to come back tomorrow for the infamous bonnet video that you participated in. You always say you're a willing participant, and this is an opportunity again where you were a willing participant.
Yes.
But thank you so much for sharing and unpacking.
All right, so we're going to do part 2 probably tomorrow. So we'll have a watch party for part 2 tomorrow. So that means that looks like that's the end of his video. I scrolled a little bit further and it looks like he's just doing like an advertisement. So please do go and support his channel, see what he's talking about over there. He was able to get this interview with her, and even though he's Sir Cackle a lot, she likes him and she decided to go on his platform and do this interview with him. So thumbs up the video. Share the video, watch the video, comment on the video. And if you're watching this video after we have gone live, you can always send your apples through that way as well. So, yes, self-love. Let's talk about the self-love lessons that we learned from today's video. What is the self-love lesson that we learned from today's video? Who is that? Oh, okay. I saw a black thing in the corner. All right. What's the self-love lesson video that you all learned from today's video, from this half of the interview that we have seen? And I want you all to type SLL and type the self-love lesson that you have seen. So let's get it. Let's get it. SLL, type the self-love lesson. Deep Throat is saying, try to get in touch with her, Tonya, and interview her to get her to accept. Say you want to apologize. Listen, I am not going to participate in behaviors simply for the views or the money that will come from the views, right? I burnt the possibility of a relationship with that young lady from speaking my truth, as well as participating in some actions that were and could be seen as mean-spirited. So, yeah. And so Jennifer is saying, what should we walk away with from watching this? And that's part of the question right there. People are typing it in. SLL, someone else can't complete you or make you feel whole, right? Kelly says that she forgot to type SLL. So copy and paste your sentence so I can see it. I'm looking for the SLLs to know what to read out loud. Do not compete with other women to win a man. Teach your daughters self-value early. Intelligence doesn't equal self-worth. You can't win a losing game. Invest in yourself daily, ladies. Never worship a man. Deal with traumatic events right away so they don't end up dragging you far into your future. Yes. So for Jennifer, who was asking what are the self-love takeaways that you should get, people are typing them. Read these. Rewind the video, pause it, and read them. If those that truly love you don't like your partner, I remember I made a statement about that earlier. The people who know you the best and love you the most, if they dislike your partner, ask them questions and pay attention, because they say love is blind. There could be some things you're not seeing. SLL, actions speak louder than words. SLL, love yourself more than you love a man and money. Don't accept what you don't give. Ooh, that is interesting. I agree. I can't be fake for money. I just can't. When people show you who they are, believe them. In this life, don't ever pedestalize a romantic partner or any human for that matter. Absolutely. Listening to your women's intuition and look for the red flags. Yes. SLL, stop vibrating low. Prioritize your mental health. Yes, vengeance and revenge is evil and self-hurting to your own self. That is a good actual, you know what? All of that, trying to get revenge and all that other stuff is low vibrational. That's why when people say they are worshiping a God who is jealous and gets revenge and all this other stuff, I can only just be like, okay, if that's what resonates with you. SLL, decenter men. Come, let's see. Use a condom if you're unsure about your partner. Yeah. Oh my God. What is the self-love lesson in having unprotected intercourse with a man who you know is getting ready to have intercourse with someone else? What is the self-love lesson in that? SLL, love is not a feeling. Run from someone treating you badly. SLL, learn from others' misfortune. Well, listen, you can definitely learn from other people's misfortune. Don't envy other people's relationship. Revisit and work on childhood trauma and acknowledge how it influences your actions. Okay. Self-love is the best love. Okay, type SLL so I can read your comment out loud so I'll know which one is the ones that are focusing on self-love. Be honest with yourself and stop trying to put on an image for society. Yes. SLL, come on, let's see. Don't degrade yourself to prove you're worthy to others. That's one of our Twitchies commenting. All right. Remember, what you tolerate can affect your children. Yes, it can affect you. It can affect your health. It can affect your children. And And someone is saying she's lucky that she did not catch an STD. None of us are her doctors. We don't know what it is that has happened behind the scenes in her relationship, because that man was reckless. He was and is reckless. And I think he wanted to get caught. And people who want to get caught are maybe looking for you to take the easy way out. Listen, I heard somebody in a video say, don't let a man tell you twice he doesn't want you. Listen, pay attention. Don't let your need to be chosen rob your decision making. SOL can't beat them, quote unquote, join them, bun upon them, or fire. Stop looking for your value in others. Okay? You never know what happens behind closed doors. Everything that glitters isn't gold. Become what you want to attract. Let's see these self-love lessons. Come on, post. Take things at face value, experience it, accept it, and learn from it, and move on. Work on being whole before entering into a relationship. You know what? I would say yes. Work on being whole, but if when a relationship comes and the universe has sent you a relationship and it resonates with you, even if you don't consider yourself whole, that relationship is meeting you where it is that you are, and that relationship may take you to the next level of self-love and understanding. So I say, do keep yourself open to love, do keep yourself open to relationships, and just listen to your heart, check in, meditate, listen to your higher self. And so stop comparing yourself to other women. Be careful, because some men will intentionally give you an STD. They can do everything evil under the sun. Be careful. I don't know how you learned that self-love lesson from this video, but give the self-love lesson you learned from this video, because there's no mention of STDs that she talked about. So let's see. SLL. Femidons exist, ladies. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure somebody out there knows what it means. All right. Love is not painful, so if it hurts, it's not love. Ooh, you know what? It all comes, listen, love, joy, and pain is like sunshine and rain. For you old heads out there. Heal your inner youth before experiencing adult activities. I learned the hard way. Okay. All right. So listen, we will see you back here tomorrow. We're going to do a watch party of the second half of this video. I appreciate you all coming out. Let me check the apples one last time before we jump out of here. Tiffany wants you all to hit the like button. Love you, Tonya. Yes, go ahead, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, and we're going to jump out of here.